The law of manifestation states that whatever you focus on consistently, whether positive or negative, will eventually manifest in your life. This powerful universal principle operates continuously, regardless of whether you're consciously aware of it. At its core, this law suggests that your thoughts, beliefs, and emotional focus act as magnets, drawing corresponding experiences, opportunities, and circumstances into your reality. This law functions through the concept of vibrational alignment. Everything in our universe, including our thoughts, exists as energy vibrating at different frequencies. When you maintain a specific thought pattern, you emit a consistent energetic frequency that resonates with and attracts similar energies. This mechanism explains why persistent focus on specific outcomes that tends to materialize those outcomes in your physical experience. Many people misinterpret the law of manifestation as simply positive thinking or wishful daydreaming. However, true manifestation operates at a deeper level, involving not just conscious thoughts but also subconscious beliefs, emotional states, and aligned actions. Your entire being, mind, emotions, and behaviors must vibrate in harmony with your desired outcome for effective manifestation to occur. The scientific basis for this phenomenon can be partially understood through quantum physics. At the quantum level, particles exist in states of probability until observed or measured, at which point they collapse into definite states. Some theoretical physicists suggest that consciousness itself might influence these probability states, potentially affecting physical reality. While mainstream science doesn't fully endorse these connections, the parallels between quantum mechanics and manifestation principles are noteworthy. How the law of manifestation works. The manifestation process typically follows several stages. 1. Thought formation. Every manifestation begins with a single thought or idea. This initial seed, when given attention, begins to grow in your consciousness. 2. Emotional amplification. When you attach emotion to your thoughts, you supercharge them with energy. Strong positive emotions like excitement, joy, and gratitude accelerate manifestation, while fear and doubt create resistance. 3. Belief integration. As you continuously focus on a thought with emotion, it becomes a belief. Your subconscious mind accepts these repeated thoughts as truth and begins operating accordingly. 4. Subconscious reprogramming. Your subconscious mind, which controls approximately 95% of your behavior, begins aligning your actions, perceptions, and responses with your new belief system. 5. Inspired action. You naturally feel compelled to take actions that align with your focus. These aren't forced actions but rather intuitive steps that feel right. 6. Physical manifestation. The culmination of aligned thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and actions results in the physical manifestation of your focus in your external reality. A critical aspect often overlooked is that this process works equally well with negative focus. Constantly dwelling on fears, problems, or limitations will manifest more of these experiences in your life. The law operates impartially, responding to your dominant focus regardless of whether you desire those outcomes. Benefits of understanding and applying the law of manifestation. Mastering the law of manifestation offers transformative benefits across all areas of life. Increased self-awareness. Practicing conscious manifestation requires monitoring your thoughts and emotional states, developing greater mindfulness and self-knowledge. Enhanced personal power. Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstances, you recognize your role in creating your reality, reclaiming your power to shape your life experiences. Improved mental health. Focusing on positive outcomes rather than worst-case scenarios reduces anxiety and stress while promoting optimism and resilience. Greater life satisfaction. By deliberately creating experiences aligned with your authentic desires, you experience greater fulfillment and purpose. Better relationships. Your improved emotional state and clear intentions attract healthier relationships and enhance existing ones through positive expectation. Increased opportunities. As you align with your desires, you become more perceptive of relevant opportunities that might have otherwise gone unnoticed. Accelerated personal growth. The process of manifestation requires confronting limiting beliefs and expanding your comfort zone, catalyzing rapid personal development. Material prosperity. With practice, you can manifest improved financial circumstances by releasing scarcity mindsets and aligning with abundance. Improved health. Many practitioners report health benefits from focusing on wellness rather than illness. Supporting the mind-body connection. Spiritual connection. Regular manifestation practice often deepens spiritual awareness and connection to universal energy sources. These benefits compound over time as your manifestation skills develop, creating an upward spiral of positive creation in your life. Practical implementation strategies. Implementing the law of manifestation effectively requires consistent practice and a multi-faceted approach. 1. Clarify your desires. Start by gaining absolute clarity about what you want to manifest. Vague desires produce vague results. Write detailed descriptions of your desired outcomes, addressing exactly what you want to be specific. Why you want it: emotional connection, how it will feel when achieved, sensory details, what it will bring to your life, its benefits and impact. This clarity provides a precise target for your manifestation energy. 2. Practice visualization. Dedicate 10-15 minutes daily to vivid visualization. During this practice, create mental movies of already having achieved your desire. Incorporate all senses: sight, sound, touch, taste, smell. Generate authentic emotional responses of joy, gratitude, and excitement, and experience the visualization from the first-person perspective. Morning and evening represent ideal times for visualization practice when your subconscious mind is most receptive. 3. Cultivate supportive beliefs. Identify and transform limiting beliefs that contradict your manifestation goals. Journal about potential mental blocks or doubts. Question negative beliefs. Is this absolutely true? What evidence contradicts this? Create positive affirmations that counter limiting beliefs. Seek evidence that supports your new empowering beliefs. Remember that belief systems developed over decades may require persistent effort to reshape. 4. Manage your emotional state. Since emotions amplify manifestation power, develop emotional mastery. Practice gratitude daily for existing blessings. Use anchor techniques to quickly access positive emotional states. Develop awareness of emotional downturns and strategies to pivot. Create a high vibration playlist of music that elevates your mood. Surround yourself with environments and people who support positive states. Your emotional set point acts as your manifestation baseline, so elevating it consistently accelerates results. 5. Use affirmations effectively. Create powerful affirmations following these guidelines. Rephrase them in present tense: I am, rather than I will. Make them believable. Gradually escalate if necessary. Include emotional components. I joyfully experience. State them with conviction while feeling the emotions they evoke. Repeat them during receptive states upon waking, before sleep. For maximum impact, record affirmations in your own voice and listen regularly. 6. Practice mindful awareness. Develop the ability to monitor your focus throughout the day. Set reminders to check your thought patterns. Notice when you've slipped into negative focus. Gently redirect attention to preferred outcomes. Celebrate moments of positive focus to reinforce them. This growing awareness prevents unconscious manifestation of unwanted circumstances. 7. Take aligned action. Manifestation requires a balance of allowing and doing. Follow intuitive impulses that feel aligned with your goals. Take consistent small steps toward your vision. Act as if your desire is already manifesting. Remain flexible about the exact path to achievement. Celebrate progress to build manifestation momentum. Action demonstrates faith in the manifestation process and creates pathways for its expression. 8. Release attachment and resistance. Paradoxically, clinging too tightly to desired outcomes creates resistance. Practice detachment from specific timelines. Trust the universe's timing and methods. Use the phrase "this or something better" to remain open. Focus on the essence of what you want rather than exact forms. Release the need to control exactly how manifestation occurs. This open stance allows manifestation to proceed through optimal channels that might exceed your original vision. 9. Leverage physical environment. Your surroundings reflect and influence your manifestation practice. Create a vision board with images representing your desires. Organize and beautify your space to reflect your ideal life. Remove objects that trigger negative associations. Introduce symbols and reminders of your manifestation goals. Design your environment to support positive emotional states. Your physical space acts as a continuous affirmation of your intentions. 10. Develop manifestation rituals. Establish regular practices that reinforce your manifestation work. Morning intention setting ceremonies. Evening gratitude and reflection practices. The new moon and full moon manifestation rituals. Seasonal reviews and manifestation adjustments. Weekly manifestation hour for focused practice. These rituals integrate manifestation into your lifestyle rather than treating it as an occasional activity. Common challenges and solutions. Even dedicated practitioners encounter obstacles in the manifestation process. Here are solutions to common challenges. Impatience. When results don't appear quickly, remember that manifestation operates on divine timing, not human schedules. Focus on enjoying the journey and finding evidence of progress, however small. Doubt and skepticism. Acknowledge doubts without identifying with them. Say, "I notice doubt arising," rather than "I doubt this will work." Then gently return to belief and positive focus. Inconsistent practice. Establish minimum daily requirements, even just 5 minutes, and link manifestation practice to existing habits to ensure consistency. Contradictory desires. When you discover conflicting desires, dig deeper to identify core values and align your manifestation goals with your authentic self. External negativity. Create energetic boundaries with negative influences. Limit exposure to pessimistic people and media while expanding positive inputs. Wavering focus. Use physical anchors like a bracelet or stone to remind yourself to maintain positive focus throughout the day. Integrating the law of manifestation with other universal laws. The law of manifestation operates most effectively when practiced alongside other universal principles. A law of magnetism, understanding that you attract what you are, not just what you want, emphasizes the importance of embodying your desires. Law of delicate balance. Balancing desire with gratitude prevents the manifestation, blocking energy of desperation. Law of inspired action. Recognizing that manifestation requires both energetic alignment and physical steps creates complete manifestation practice. By acknowledging these interconnections, you create a holistic manifestation approach that honors the complexity of universal laws. Conclusion. The law of manifestation empowers you to become a conscious creator of your life experience, rather than a passive recipient of random circumstances. Through focused attention, emotional alignment, belief transformation, and consistent practice, you can harness this fundamental universal principle to manifest experiences that reflect your highest aspirations. Remember that manifestation is both an art and a science, requiring both systematic application and intuitive flow. As you develop your manifestation skills, approach the process with a spirit of playful experimentation combined with unwavering commitment. Most importantly, recognize that you're already manifesting continuously based on your dominant thoughts and feelings. The question isn't whether you're using the law of manifestation, but whether you're using it consciously to create a life of joy, purpose, and fulfillment. The law of magnetism. Understanding the fundamental principle. The law of magnetism, often summarized as like attracts like, represents one of the most profound yet frequently misunderstood universal principles governing our experience. This law states that the energy you consistently emit, through your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, actions, and overall vibrational state, acts as a powerful magnetic force that draws similar energies, experiences, and people into your life. Unlike physical magnets that attract their opposites, energetic magnetism operates by resonance, connecting with frequencies that match its own. At its essence, the law of magnetism reveals that you don't merely attract what you want or what you think about occasionally, you attract what you are at your core vibrational level. Your entire energetic signature, including conscious thoughts, subconscious beliefs, emotional patterns, and habitual behaviors, creates a composite frequency that broadcasts continuously into the universe, attracting corresponding manifestations. This universal principle operates impartially and consistently, regardless of whether you're aware of it. Just as gravity affects everyone regardless of their understanding or belief in physics, the law of magnetism functions as a constant force in human experience. The difference lies in whether you harness this power consciously or allow it to operate by default, based on unconscious patterns. The scientific basis for the law of magnetism can be partially understood through quantum field theory, which recognizes that all matter consists of energy fields interacting through various forces. While conventional science hasn't fully validated the connection between human energetic states and attraction of circumstances, emerging research in areas like epigenetics, neuroplasticity, and psychoneuroimmunology increasingly suggests that our internal states significantly influence our external experiences through mechanisms we're only beginning to understand. How the law of magnetism works. The magnetic attraction process generally unfolds through several interconnected mechanisms. 1. Vibrational emission. Every emotion and belief generates a specific energetic frequency. Persistent mental and emotional states create dominant vibrational patterns that form your overall energetic signature. 2. Resonance creation. Your vibrational signature resonates with and attracts energies of similar frequency in the quantum field, the underlying fabric of reality from which all physical manifestations emerge. 3. Perception filtering. Your vibrational state creates a perceptual filter, causing you to notice opportunities, people, and circumstances that align with your dominant frequency, while potentially overlooking those that don't match. 4. Behavioral alignment. Your energy influences your unconscious behaviors, body language, tone, and micro-expressions, subtly communicating to others and attracting those who resonate with these signals. 5. Manifestation materialization. As matching energies converge through these mechanisms, they eventually crystallize into tangible experiences, relationships, and circumstances that reflect your vibrational state. A critical distinction in understanding this law is recognizing that attraction operates based on your actual energy, not your desired or professed energy. Many people claim to want prosperity while harboring deep-seated scarcity beliefs, or desire loving relationships while emanating frequencies of unworthiness. These contradictions create confusing or disappointing attraction results. Benefits of understanding and applying the law of magnetism. Mastering the law of magnetism offers transformative advantages across all dimensions of life. Authentic relationship attraction. Rather than pursuing or chasing connections, you naturally draw in compatible people who appreciate your authentic self, creating more fulfilling relationships. Career alignment. Your professional life begins aligning with your true talents and values as your energetic authenticity attracts fitting opportunities and repels mismatched situations. Enhanced self-awareness. The mirror-like nature of this law provides constant feedback about your internal state through external reflections, accelerating personal growth. Reduced struggle. Instead of forcing outcomes through willpower alone, you learn to adjust your energy to flow with rather than against universal currents, experiencing greater ease. Increased personal influence. As your energy becomes more coherent and authentic, your natural magnetism and charisma increase, enhancing your leadership capacity and impact on others. Improved environmental harmony. Your living and working spaces naturally reorganize to reflect your evolving energy, creating surroundings that support your well-being. Greater abundance flow. Financial and material resources begin flowing more freely as you release contradictory scarcity frequencies and align with prosperity consciousness. Enhanced intuition. As you become more attuned to energy dynamics, your intuitive abilities sharpen, helping you navigate decisions with greater wisdom. Accelerated manifestation. Working with the law of magnetism significantly amplifies the effectiveness of other manifestation practices by ensuring energetic congruence. Spiritual evolution. The practice of energy mastery facilitates deeper spiritual connection and awareness as you recognize your role in co-creating reality. These benefits compound over time, creating an upward spiral of increasingly refined attraction as your energetic coherence develops. Practical implementation strategies. Implementing the law of magnetism effectively requires consistent energy management and authentic alignment. Here are practical strategies for harnessing this universal force. 1. Conduct an energy audit. Begin by honestly assessing your current energetic state. Journal about how you truly feel in different life areas, relationships, work, health, etc. Notice recurring patterns in your experiences and what they might reflect. Identify emotional states you experience most frequently. Recognize which people and situations drain or energize you. Determine where you might be projecting one energy while internally feeling another. This baseline awareness provides the foundation for intentional energy shifts. 2. Practice energy hygiene. Develop daily habits to cleanse and maintain your energetic field. Begin each day with energy clearing practices like meditation, breathwork, or visualization. Create energetic boundaries with depleting influences and relationships. Regularly cleanse your physical spaces to remove stagnant energies. Spend time in natural settings to reset your frequency. End each day with energetic release ritual before sleep. These practices prevent unwanted energetic accumulation that could distort your magnetic signature. 3. Cultivate emotional mastery. Since emotions generate powerful magnetic frequencies, develop emotional intelligence. Practice identifying emotions as they arise without judgment. Develop techniques to transmute lower vibration emotions like fear, anger, or jealousy. Intentionally generate high vibration emotional states through gratitude, appreciation, and joy. Create anchor techniques to quickly shift emotional states when needed. Honor authentic emotions while not becoming entrapped in counterproductive patterns. Your dominant emotional state serves as the core of your magnetic attraction power. 4. Align your three centers. Ensure congruence between your thongs, feel actions. Identify where you might think one thing, feel another, and do a third. Work to bring these three centers into harmony around your desires. Notice when you're taking actions that contradict your stated intentions. Develop integrity between your internal state and external expression. Practice authentic communication that accurately reflects your true energy. This alignment creates a powerful, coherent signal that maximizes magnetic attraction. 5. Clear limiting beliefs. Identify and transform subconscious beliefs that generate unwanted magnetic patterns. Use techniques like journaling, meditation, or hypnosis to uncover hidden beliefs and trace current patterns back to their belief system origins. Question the validity of limiting beliefs. Is this absolutely true? Where's the evidence? Replace disempowering beliefs with empowering alternatives. Seek evidence and experiences that reinforce new belief systems. Remember that beliefs formed through emotional experiences typically require emotional processes to transform. 6. Practice energetic embodiment. Rather than just visualizing desired outcomes, embody their energy. Identify the precise feeling state of already having your desire fulfilled. Practice generating this state physically through posture, breathing, and movement. Speak and act from the energy of your desire rather than from its absence. Make decisions based on What would someone who has already achieved this do? Consistently embody the energy you wish to attract for at least 15-30 minutes daily. This embodiment practice aligns your magnetic field with your desired reality. 7. Enhance your environmental energy. Your physical surroundings both reflect and influence your energetic state. Remove objects, pictures, and items that carry negative associations. Introduce elements that emit the energy you wish to attract. Clear clutter which disperses and fragments your energy. Create sacred spaces dedicated to high vibration activities. Consider feng shui or other environmental energy systems to optimize flow. Your environment continuously broadcasts frequencies that either support or undermine your intentions. 8. Cultivate purposeful associations. The people you regularly interact with significantly impact your energetic signature. Evaluate your 5 closest associations and their general energy patterns. Gradually reduce exposure to chronically negative or draining relationships. Seek connection with individuals who embody the qualities you desire. Join communities or groups aligned with your aspirational energy. Create clear energetic boundaries when interacting with lower vibration environments. Remember that relationship transitions should be approached with compassion rather than judgment. 9. Develop energy awareness. Cultivate moment-to-moment consciousness of your energetic state. Practice regular energy check-ins throughout your day. Notice subtle shifts in your field when interacting with different people and environments. Develop sensitivity to the feeling of alignment versus misalignment. Learn to distinguish between authentic attraction and ego-based wanting. Keep an energy journal to track patterns and correlations with external events. This growing awareness allows for real-time energetic adjustments rather than reactive patterns. 10. Create energy rituals. Establish regular practices that strengthen your desired magnetic signature. Morning rituals to set your energetic intention for the day. Midday energy resets to prevent accumulation of unwanted frequencies. Evening practices to review and release discordant energies. Weekly energy alignment sessions for deeper recalibration. Seasonal or monthly rituals to attune to natural energy cycles. These structured practices ensure consistent energy management rather than sporadic attention. Common challenges and solutions. Practitioners of the law of magnetism often encounter specific obstacles. Here are effective solutions to common challenges. Inconsistent results. When manifestations seem erratic, look for subconscious contradictions in your energy field. Use techniques like muscle testing or pendulum work to identify hidden conflicts. Attracting unwanted circumstances. If you continue drawing unwanted experiences, investigate what emotional needs these situations might be fulfilling. Often, unwanted attractions serve unconscious purposes we haven't acknowledged. Energy depletion. When your magnetic power feels weak, prioritize energetic replenishment through nature immersion, rest, and connection with life force practices like Qigong or Tai Chi. Old patterns returning. If former unwanted attractions reappear, recognize this as an opportunity to clear deeper layers of the pattern rather than evidence of failure. Impatience. Remember that energetic shifts often operate on quantum rather than linear timelines. Look for subtle evidence of realignment rather than expecting immediate completed transformations. Environmental resistance. When surrounding environments seem to resist your new frequency, create energetic buffers and gradually expand your field of influence rather than forcing immediate change. Advanced applications of the law of magnetism. As your practice deepens, explore these advanced applications. Group energy dynamics. Learn to work with collective fields in families, teams, or organizations, helping to shift group consciousness toward desired outcomes. Energy transmission. Develop the ability to consciously transmit specific frequencies to benefit others and environments with appropriate ethical boundaries. Field amplification. Work with tools like crystals, sound, or sacred geometry to amplify and refine your magnetic signature for specific purposes. Timeline navigation. Advanced practitioners can attune to parallel reality frequencies, magnetizing experiences from probability fields that align with desired outcomes. Service-based magnetism evolved from personal attraction to becoming a conduit for higher frequencies that serve collective evolution and healing. Integrating the law of magnetism with other universal laws. The law of magnetism operates most effectively when understood in relation to complementary universal principles. Law of manifestation. While manifestation focuses on the creative power of thought and intention, magnetism emphasizes the attracting power of your overall energetic state. Law of Unwavering Desire. Magnetic attraction strengthens when your desires remain clear and consistent rather than scattered and conflicting. Law of Harmony. Aligning with natural universal flows enhances your magnetic power by reducing resistance and friction. Law of Polarity. Understanding the contrasting energies in any situation allows you to consciously choose which polarity to embody and attract. By integrating these principles, you create a comprehensive approach to conscious reality creation. Conclusion. The law of magnetism offers a profound perspective shift from seeing yourself as a separate entity pursuing external experiences to recognizing yourself as an energetic broadcasting station continuously attracting resonant circumstances. This realization transforms life from a series of random events or struggles against reality into a creative dance of energy and attraction. As you develop mastery of this law, you'll discover that the most effective way to change your external reality is not through manipulating circumstances but through authentic inner transformation. The outer world inevitably reorganizes itself to reflect your internal shifts, often in ways more magnificent than your mind could have planned. Remember that the journey of magnetic mastery is not about achieving perfect energetic states, but about developing increasing awareness and skill in managing your vibrational signature. Each experience, whether desired or unwanted, provides valuable feedback about your energy and opportunities for refinement. Ultimately, the greatest gift of working with the law of magnetism is not just attracting specific outcomes but discovering the immense creative power that has been within you all along. The power to shape your reality through the conscious evolution of your energetic being. The law of unwavering desire. Understanding the fundamental principle. The law of unwavering desire states that strong, clear intentions free of doubt and fear are significantly more likely to manifest in your physical reality. This universal principle recognizes that the intensity, clarity, and consistency of your desires create a powerful energetic focus that accelerates manifestation. Unlike fleeting wishes or casual wants, unwavering desire generates a sustained creative force that can overcome obstacles and resistance on the path to realization. At its essence, this law acknowledges that the universe responds not just to the content of your desires but to their quality. A desire infused with absolute conviction carries a different energetic signature than one contaminated with hesitation, uncertainty, or conflicting intentions. When your desire remains unwavering, maintained with steadfast focus despite apparent setbacks or delays, it creates an energetic pathway through which manifestation can flow unimpeded. This principle operates through the mechanism of concentrated consciousness. Your awareness, when fixed consistently on a single point of focus with emotional intensity and clear intention, begins to organize quantum possibilities into tangible outcomes. The unwavering nature of the desire prevents the dispersal of manifestation energy that occurs when attention constantly shifts between different, often contradictory wants. The scientific parallel might be found in coherent light. While normal light scatters in many directions with limited power, laser light, focused coherent, and aligned in a single direction, concentrates enough energy to cut through solid materials. Similarly, unwavering desire represents consciousness focused into a coherent beam powerful enough to cut through the density of physical reality and manifest desired outcomes. How the law of unwavering desire works. The manifestation process through unwavering desire typically unfolds through these stages. 1. Desire inception. A genuine desire rises from authentic inner values and aspirations, rather than external pressures or superficial wants. 2. Intention clarification. The desire transforms into clear, specific intention with defined parameters and emotional resonance. 3. Energetic charging. Strong positive emotion infuses the desire with vital energy, creating the initial manifestation momentum. 4. Doubt elimination. Contradictory thoughts, fears, and uncertainties are systematically identified and neutralized to prevent interference. 5. Singular focus. Attention remains consistently aligned with the desired outcome, even when external circumstances suggest delays or impossibilities. 6. Faith cultivation. Unshakable confidence in the eventual manifestation develops, creating a psycho-emotional state that allows for patient persistence. 7. Inspired alignment. Actions naturally flow from this state of unwavering desire, creating bridges between current reality and the desired outcome. 8. Manifestation materialization. The sustained energetic pattern eventually crystallizes into physical experience, often through seemingly coincidental events, opportunities, or circumstances. A critical element often misunderstood is that unwavering desire doesn't mean desperate clinging or anxious fixation. Rather, it represents a calm, assured certainty, a knowing so complete that the desire feels fulfilled in consciousness even before its physical manifestation. This paradoxical state of desiring while simultaneously feeling as if the desire is already fulfilled creates the optimal conditions for manifestation. Benefits of understanding and applying the law of unwavering desire. Mastering the law of unwavering desire offers transformative advantages across multiple dimensions of life. Enhanced manifestation power. When desires remain consistent and doubt-free, manifestation occurs more rapidly and completely than with fluctuating or uncertain intentions. Increased focus and productivity. The discipline of maintaining unwavering desire translates to improved concentration in all areas of life, enhancing productivity and effectiveness. Clearer life direction. The process of identifying truly important desires eliminates distractions and creates a compelling sense of purpose and direction. Strengthened emotional resilience. Practicing unwavering desire develops the ability to maintain positive emotional states despite temporary setbacks or challenges. Improved decision-making. With clear, consistent desires as your compass, decisions become simpler and more aligned with your authentic path. Accelerated personal growth. The process of maintaining unwavering desire often requires confronting and transforming limiting beliefs, accelerating personal evolution. Enhanced intuitive guidance. As your desires become clearer and more consistent, intuitive guidance regarding their fulfillment becomes more accessible and trustworthy. Greater life satisfaction. The achievement of significant desires through conscious application of this law creates profound fulfillment and confidence. Reduced mental stress. Eliminating contradictory desires and wavering focus significantly reduces the mental friction and stress of scattered attention. Spiritual development. The discipline of unwavering desire often leads to deeper spiritual awareness and connection to universal creative forces. These benefits compound as your practice deepens, creating an upward spiral of increasingly refined manifestation abilities. Practical implementation strategies. Implementing the law of unwavering desire effectively requires disciplined practice and multiple complementary approaches. 1. Desire authentication. Begin by ensuring your desires arise from authentic inner values rather than external influences. Meditate on potential desires and notice which ones generate genuine excitement and alignment. Question each desire. If no one else knew I achieved this, would it still matter to me? Would trace desires back to their sources. Why do I want this? What deeper need or value does it serve? Notice which desires persist over time versus that fluctuate with external circumstances. Identify desires that energize you versus that feel depleting or obligatory. This authentication process ensures you're investing your manifestation energy in genuinely important outcomes. 2. Desire clarification. Transform vague wants into crystal clear intentions. Write detailed descriptions of exactly what manifestation success looks like. Define measurable parameters that will indicate fulfillment. Create a multi-sensory vision of your desire fulfilled as sights, sounds, feelings, smells, tastes. Identify what you do want to help clarify boundaries of your desire. Formulate your desire in positive terms, what you want, rather than negative terms, what you want to avoid. This clarity provides a precise target for your manifestation energy and prevents diffusion through vagueness. 3. Emotional amplification. Infuse your desire with powerful positive emotions. Practice generating the feeling of already having your desire fulfilled. Create a desire anchor. By pairing this feeling with a physical gesture you can use anytime. Compile music, images, and stories that evoke the emotional state of fulfillment. Write about your desire in present tense with emotional richness. Record yourself speaking about your fulfilled desire with passionate conviction. Since emotion provides the energetic fuel for manifestation, this amplification significantly accelerates the process. 4. Doubt identification and neutralization. Systematically remove energetic interference from doubt and fear. Journal about all potential doubts, fears, and contradictions related to your desire. For each doubt, identify its source and question its validity. Create specific counter-evidence and affirmations for persistent doubts. To develop visualization practices that specifically address fear scenarios. Use techniques like EFT, emotional freedom technique, or EMDR, set eye movement, desensitization, and reprocessing for stubborn emotional blocks. This clearing process removes the primary obstacles to unwavering desire maintenance. 5. Focus strengthening. Develop the mental discipline to maintain singular focus. Create daily desire meditation practices at 10-15 minutes minimum. Use visual reminders of your desire in your environment. Develop a desire mantra to silently repeat during idle moments. Create consequence structures for maintaining regular focus sessions, returning to your desires whenever you notice distraction. Like building a muscle, your capacity for unwavering focus strengthens with consistent exercise. 6. Faith development. Cultivate unshakable confidence in eventual manifestation. Collect evidence of previous manifestation successes in your life. Study testimonials and examples of similar manifestations. Practice acting as if manifestation is already guaranteed. Create certainty rituals to reinforce your confidence daily. Develop relationships with others who have successfully manifested similar desires. This faith creates the psychological foundation for maintaining unwavering desire through apparent delays. 7. Aligned action implementation. Take inspired physical steps that bridge current reality and desired manifestation. Identify the smallest possible action step toward your desire. Create daily or weekly action commitments that demonstrate faith. Notice and immediately act on intuitive impulses related to your desire. Adjust your environment to reflect the reality of your fulfilled desire. Make decisions based on, what would someone who has already achieved this do? These actions create physical pathways for manifestation energy to flow through. 8. Patience cultivation. Develop the capacity to maintain unwavering desire regardless of time frame. Practice detachment from specific timelines while maintaining outcome certainty. Create milestone celebrations to acknowledge progress along the manifestation journey. Develop enjoyment of the desire process rather than fixating solely on the outcome. Use techniques like future self journaling to strengthen long-term perspective. Study natural growth processes of plants, child development to internalize organic timing principles. This patience prevents the common manifestation sabotage of abandoning desires prematurely. 9. Energetic tuning. Regularly calibrate your overall energy field to support unwavering desire. Establish morning and evening energy alignment practices. Create sacred space dedicated to desire amplification. Utilize meditation, breathwork, or movement practices to clear energetic static. Minimize exposure to people and environments that destabilize your desire focus. Use sound, color, scent, or other sensory tools to quickly realign with desire frequencies. This ongoing energetic maintenance prevents gradual desire dilution through environmental influences. 10. Manifestation integration. Prepare for successful integration of your manifested desire. Anticipate and address potential upper limit problems that might arise with fulfillment. Identify secondary desires that might emerge after primary manifestation. Create celebration and acknowledgement rituals for when manifestation occurs. Develop gratitude practices specific to your desire fulfillment. Prepare to share your manifestation wisdom with others who might benefit. This integration preparation prevents the common pattern of undermining manifestations after they arrive. Common challenges and solutions. Even dedicated practitioners encounter obstacles when applying the law of unwavering desire. Here are effective solutions to common challenges. Desire fluctuation. When enthusiasm naturally wanes, reconnect with the core emotional why behind your desire rather than forcing artificial excitement. Cyclical energy is natural. Consistent commitment during lower cycles distinguishes mastery. Competing desirist. When multiple important desires vie for attention, either prioritize sequentially, find the common essence underlying seemingly different desires, or create a hierarchy of focus with primary and secondary attention allocation. Social undermining. When others question or doubt your desires, create selective sharing boundaries, develop supportive community alternatives, and strengthen your internal validation resources to maintain focus despite external skepticism. Progress pledos. When manifestation momentum seems stalled, shift attention to appreciation of progress already made, adjust approaches rather than goals, and deepen into the feeling state of fulfillment rather than focusing on external evidence. Desire evolution. When your original desire naturally evolves or changes, honor this evolution as increased clarity rather than lack of commitment, and refine your focus to align with your authentic path rather than rigid adherence to initial formulations. Advanced applications of the law of unwavering desire. As your practice deepens, explore these advanced applications. Quantum jumping. Develop the ability to shift your conscious point of assembly completely into the reality where your desire is already fulfilled, experiencing it as a present fact rather than future possibility. Desire harmonization. Learn to align multiple desires into coherent harmonic patterns rather than competing frequencies, creating symphony rather than cacophony in your manifestation field. Group desire amplification. Work with consciously aligned groups to focus collective unwavering desire toward shared outcomes, significantly multiplying manifestation power. Timeline navigation. Develop sensitivity to potential future timelines and consciously select paths of least resistance for desire fulfillment rather than forcing manifestation through unlikely channels. Desire transcendence. Eventually recognize how specific desires serve as vehicles for deeper soul evolution, allowing the essence of desires to guide you while remaining flexible about their exact forms. Integrating the law of unwavering desire with universal laws. The law of unwavering desire operates most effectively when understood in relation to complementary universal principles. A law of manifestation. While manifestation establishes the creative power of focused consciousness, unwavering desire emphasizes the necessity of consistency and doubt-free intention. Law of magnetism. Unwavering desire creates a powerful magnetic signature that attracts corresponding experiences, particularly when the desire is embodied emotionally. Law of delicate balance. Balancing passionate desire with detached allowing creates the optimal state for manifestation flow without desperate clinging. Law of inspired action. Unwavering desire naturally generates aligned action impulses that, when followed, create bridges to manifestation. By integrating these principles, you create a comprehensive approach to conscious reality creation that honors the multidimensional nature of manifestation. Conclusion. The law of unwavering desire reveals that the quality, clarity, and consistency of your desires significantly determine their manifestation power. Rather than viewing manifestation as a mechanical process of simply identifying wants, this law emphasizes the art of desire cultivation, developing the capacity to maintain crystal clear, emotionally charged, doubt-free intentions despite apparent obstacles or delays. As you develop mastery of unwavering desire, you'll discover that the greatest challenge isn't identifying what you want but developing the internal congruence and focused discipline to maintain desire integrity through the natural fluctuations of life. Each experience of successful manifestation through this principle builds confidence in your creative capacity and refines your ability to distinguish between authentic desires worthy of your focus and transient wants that would disperse your manifestation energy. Remember that unwavering desire represents a balanced state of passionate commitment, without desperate attachment, a paradoxical condition of desiring intensely while simultaneously trusting so completely that you feel fulfilled even before physical manifestation. This state of consciousness, when developed through consistent practice, becomes a powerful creative force that can transform virtually any area of your life. Ultimately, the practice of unwavering desire leads not just to the fulfillment of specific outcomes, but to the recognition of your inherent creative nature. Your capacity to participate consciously in shaping reality through the focused power of your consciousness. The law of delicate balance of gratitude, contentment, and manifestation. In the intricate tapestry of universal laws that govern our existence, the law of delicate balance stands as a profound principle that can transform our approach to manifestation and personal fulfillment. This law centers on a seemingly paradoxical truth: to receive more of what we desire, we must first cultivate genuine appreciation for what we already have. The law of delicate balance teaches us that gratitude and contentment are not merely virtuous states of mind but powerful forces that create the optimal conditions for our desires to manifest. Understanding the law of delicate balance. At its core, the law of delicate balance acknowledges that the universe operates through harmonious equilibrium. This law recognizes that our relationship with abundance is nuanced. It requires us to maintain a delicate balance between two seemingly opposing forces, desire and gratitude. While having aspirations and dreams is essential for growth and expansion, an excessive focus on what we lack can create a state of energetic resistance that actually repels what we seek to attract. The law of delicate balance suggests that the universe responds most generously when we exist in a state of appreciation for our current reality while simultaneously holding space for our future aspirations. This balance creates an energetic receptivity that allows new blessings to flow into our lives with greater ease. The science behind balance. From a scientific perspective, the law of delicate balance aligns with findings in positive for psychology and neuroscience. Research has shown that practicing gratitude activates the brain's reward pathways and triggers the release of dopamine and serotonin, neurotransmitters associated with feelings of well-being and happiness. When we experience these positive emotional states, our perception broadens, our stress levels decrease, and our ability to recognize opportunities improves significantly. Studies have also revealed that people who regularly practice gratitude report higher levels of positive emotions, greater life satisfaction, and stronger interpersonal relationships, all factors that contribute to a more abundant and fulfilling life. This scientific validation underscores the power of gratitude as a catalyst for creating the balanced state necessary for manifestation. The role of gratitude in manifestation. Gratitude serves as the cornerstone of the law of delicate balance. When we express sincere appreciation for the blessings in our lives, both big and small, we shift our vibrational frequency to one that resonates with abundance rather than lack. This shift is crucial because the law of attraction, which works in tandem with the law of delicate balance, states that like attracts like. By focusing on the abundance we already possess, we attract more of the same into our experience. Gratitude also acts as a powerful transformative force that alters our perception of reality. When we view our lives through the lens of appreciation, we begin to notice even more things to be grateful for, creating a positive feedback loop that amplifies our experience of abundance. This perceptual shift is not merely psychological. It has tangible effects on our external circumstances as we become more receptive to the opportunities and blessings that surround us. Gratitude vs. desire, finding the sweet spot. The law of delicate balance doesn't require us to suppress our desires or ambitions. Rather, it invites us to find the sweet spot between wanting more and appreciating what we have. This equilibrium can be understood as a form of grateful anticipation. a state where we feel genuine gratitude for our present circumstances while maintaining excited expectation for what is yet to come. The key distinction lies in the emotional quality of our desires. When our desires stem from a place of lack, scarcity, or dissatisfaction, they carry a heavy energetic weight that can actually push away what we seek. Conversely, when our desires arise from a foundation of gratitude and contentment, they become light, joyful expressions of our creative potential, allowing the universe to respond more readily. The impact of contentment on manifestation. While gratitude focuses on appreciation for specific aspects of our lives, contentment represents a deeper state of acceptance and peace with our overall existence. Contentment doesn't mean complacency or resignation. Instead, it reflects an inner knowing that all is well in this moment, regardless of external circumstances. This state of contentment creates the perfect soil in which the seeds of our desires can take root and flourish. When we are content, we release the desperate energy of needing things to be different, which often creates resistance in the manifestation process. Instead, we adopt a more relaxed, trusting relationship with the universe, understanding that whatever we truly need will come to us at the right time. The paradox of contentment and growth. One of the most beautiful paradoxes of the law of delicate balance is that contentment, far from hindering progress, actually accelerates it. When we are content, we operate from a place of emotional freedom rather than compulsion. Our desires become expressions of joy rather than attempts to fill a void, and this shift in energy makes manifestation both easier and more fulfilling. Contentment also frees us from the trap of conditional happiness, the belief that we can only be happy once we've achieved certain goals or acquired certain possessions. By finding happiness in the present moment, we actually increase our magnetic attraction to the very things we desire, as we're no longer repelling them with the energy of discontent. Benefits of applying the law of delicate balance. The application of this universal principle offers numerous benefits that extend far beyond material manifestation. Enhanced emotional well-being. Cultivating gratitude and contentment has been consistently linked to greater emotional resilience, reduced symptoms of anxiety and depression, and overall psychological well-being. By practicing the law of delicate balance, we naturally experience more joy, peace, and satisfaction in our daily lives. Improved physical health. The positive emotional states generated by gratitude practices have been shown to strengthen immune function, improve cardiovascular health, and even extend lifespan. When we maintain the delicate balance between appreciation and aspiration, our bodies respond with greater vitality and resilience. Stronger interpersonal relationships. People who embody gratitude and contentment tend to be more attentive, generous, and compassionate toward others. As we practice the law of delicate balance, our relationships naturally deepen and flourish, creating a supportive network that further enhances our manifestation power. Increased synchronicity. One of the most remarkable benefits of maintaining this delicate balance is the increase in meaningful coincidences or synchronicities in our lives. When we exist in a state of grateful expectation, we seem to be in the right place at the right time more often, encountering the exact people, opportunities, and resources we need to manifest our desires. Greater manifestation success. Perhaps most significantly, the proper application of the law of delicate balance dramatically improves our ability to manifest our desires. By creating the optimal energetic conditions, appreciation for what is combined with excited anticipation for what's coming, we remove the obstacles that often impede the manifestation process. Practical implementation of the law of delicate balance. Understanding this law conceptually is valuable, but the real transformation occurs when we integrate it into our daily lives. Here are practical strategies for implementing the law of delicate balance. Establish a gratitude practice. The foundation of applying this law is developing a consistent gratitude practice. This might take the form of gratitude journaling. Spend 5-10 minutes each morning or evening writing down 3-5 things you're genuinely grateful for. Be specific and try to include different aspects of your life. Gratitude meditation. Dedicate time each day to meditate on the blessings in your life, allowing yourself to fully experience the positive emotions associated with them. Gratitude walks. Take regular walks where you intentionally notice and appreciate the beauty around you, the sky, trees, architecture, or the simple miracle of being alive. Gratitude conversations. Share what you're thankful for with loved ones, perhaps making it a ritual during meals or before bed. The key is consistency. Research indicates that it takes approximately 21 days to form a habit, so commit to your gratitude practice for at least 3 weeks to experience its full benefits. Practice mindful contentment. Cultivating contentment requires us to become more present and accepting of our current reality. Here are effective ways to develop this quality. Mindfulness meditation. Regular meditation helps us develop the ability to observe our thoughts without judgment, reducing our tendency to focus on what's missing. Savoring exercises take time to fully experience and enjoy simple pleasures, the taste of food, the warmth of sunshine, the comfort of your bed. Savor these moments completely before moving on to the next activity. Comparison fasting. Challenge yourself to go for a period, perhaps a week or month, without comparing yourself to others, especially on social media. Notice how this affects your sense of contentment. Sufficiency statements. Create and repeat affirmations that reinforce your sense of having enough, such as, I have everything I need in this moment, or my life is abundant exactly as it is. Create balance between gratitude and desire. To maintain the delicate balance that this law requires, try these approaches. Grateful visioning. When visualizing your desires, begin by expressing gratitude for what you already have in that area of life before imagining what you want to create. Appreciation. Bookends. Surround any expression of desire with statements of appreciation. For example, I'm so grateful for my comfortable home. I'm excited to manifest my dream house by the ocean. I appreciate having a safe place to live while this unfolds. Desire purification. Regularly examine your desires to ensure they're coming from a place of joy and expansion rather than lack or dissatisfaction. If you detect neediness or desperation, focus on cultivating more gratitude before pursuing that particular desire. Balance wheel. Create a visual representation of different life areas, career, relationships, health, and assess both your level of gratitude and your desires in each area. Look for imbalances and adjust accordingly. Release attachment to outcomes. A crucial aspect of the law of delicate balance is learning to hold our desires lightly rather than grasping them tightly. Practice letting go through surrender rituals. Create a simple ritual where you symbolically release your attachment to specific outcomes. This might involve writing down your desires and then burning the paper, releasing a balloon, or simply opening your hands while visualizing your desires being entrusted to the universe. Trust affirmations. Develop and repeat statements that reinforce your trust in divine timing, such as everything is unfolding perfectly or what is meant for me will not pass me by. Outcome detachment practice. When working toward a goal, focus intensely on the actions within your control while completely releasing attachment to the results. Notice how this affects both your experience and the outcomes. Appreciation for the journey. Consciously look for and appreciate the lessons, growth, and unexpected gifts that come from the process of pursuing your desires, regardless of whether you achieve your specific goal. Restore balance when it's lost. Even with the best intentions, we sometimes lose our equilibrium, falling into either excessive wanting or complacent stagnation. When this happens, balance audit. Regularly check in with yourself to assess whether you're leaning too far toward craving or complacency. Awareness is the first step toward restoration. Course correction practices. Develop personalized practices for bringing yourself back to center. If you're feeling too much discontent, intensify your gratitude practice. If you're lacking motivation, gently reconnect with your desires and visions. Emotional alchemy. When you notice yourself feeling envious, frustrated, or dissatisfied, use these emotions as signals to practice gratitude. Transform the energy of these challenging emotions into fuel for appreciation. Community support. Surround yourself with people who understand and value the importance of this delicate balance. Share your struggles and successes with them, allowing their perspective to help you regain your equilibrium when needed. Common misconceptions about the law of delicate balance. As with many spiritual principles, there are several misconceptions about this law that can impede its effective application. Misconception 1. Gratitude means settling for less. Some people fear that focusing on gratitude will diminish their ambition or lead them to accept circumstances that don't serve their highest good. In reality, genuine gratitude doesn't diminish desire. It purifies it, freeing it from the desperation that often sabotages manifestation. Misconception 2. Contentment equals complacency. There's a common belief that contentment leads to complacency or lack of motivation. The truth is that authentic contentment provides a stable foundation from which inspired action naturally arises. Rather than diminishing motivation, it often increases it by aligning our actions with our truest values. Misconception 3. Balance means equal time on gratitude and desire. The law of delicate balance isn't about dividing your attention equally between appreciation and aspiration. The optimal ratio varies by individual and circumstance. For some, a practice of 80% gratitude and 20% visioning works best, while others might thrive with different proportions. The key is finding your personal equilibrium point. Misconception 4. Once achieved, balance remains stable. Many people become discouraged when they lose their sense of balance after previously attaining it. Remember that balance is not a static state but a dynamic process requiring continuous adjustment. Like riding a bicycle, Maintaining equilibrium becomes more intuitive with practice but always requires some degree of conscious attention. The spiritual dimensions of delicate balance. Beyond its practical benefits, the law of delicate balance has profound spiritual implications. In many traditions, this balance between gratitude and desire represents the harmony between acceptance of divine will and co-creation with divine intelligence. Finding this equilibrium allows us to participate more fully in the creative process of life, while remaining surrendered to the greater wisdom that orchestrates our highest good. From this perspective, maintaining delicate balance isn't merely a manifestation technique, but a sacred practice that aligns us more completely with our divine nature and purpose. It represents the middle path between passive resignation and egoic control, a way of being that honors both our creative potential and our place within the larger cosmic order. Conclusion: the art of living in delicate balance. The law of delicate balance offers us a profound framework for creating a life of authentic abundance. By cultivating genuine gratitude for what we have while maintaining a positive relationship with our desires, we create the optimal conditions for manifestation. This balance isn't something we achieve once and for all, but a dynamic state that requires ongoing awareness and adjustment. As you integrate this principle into your life, approach it as an art form rather than a rigid technique. Allow yourself to experiment, make mistakes, and discover the unique balance point that works best for you. Remember that the ultimate goal isn't perfect equilibrium, but a life richly experienced through the complementary lenses of appreciation and aspiration. The law of delicate balance reminds us that true abundance isn't measured by what we acquire but by our capacity to appreciate what we have while remaining open to receiving more. By embodying this principle, we not only enhance our manifestation power but also experience greater joy, peace, and fulfillment along the journey, ultimately discovering that the balanced life is in itself the greatest manifestation of all. The law of harmony, aligning with universal energy for abundance and ease. In the intricate web of universal laws that govern our existence, the law of harmony stands as a profound principle that can transform our relationship with the world around us. This fundamental law teaches us that by aligning ourselves with the natural energy of the universe, we create a state of flow that invites abundance, ease, and fulfillment into our lives. The law of harmony isn't merely a spiritual concept, it's a practical approach to living that can create tangible changes in how we experience reality. Understanding the law of harmony. At its essence, the law of harmony recognizes that everything in the universe exists in a state of vibration. From the smallest subatomic particles to the vast expanse of galaxies, all things emit energy frequencies that interact with and influence one another. When these frequencies align and complement each other, harmony is created, a state of resonance that amplifies positive outcomes and minimizes resistance. The law of harmony suggests that when we consciously attune our thoughts, emotions, actions, and intentions to resonate with the natural flow of universal energy, we experience life with greater ease. Rather than swimming against the current, we learn to navigate with it, allowing its power to carry us toward our desires while conserving our own energy. The scientific basis of harmony. While the law of harmony has ancient roots in spiritual traditions worldwide, modern science provides fascinating insights that support its validity. Quantum physics has revealed that everything in our universe is fundamentally energy in various states of vibration. These vibrations create patterns that interact through resonance and entrainment, principles that explain how objects vibrating at similar frequencies tend to synchronize. Research in fields like psychoneuroimmunology has demonstrated how our mental and emotional states affect our physical bodies through complex biochemical pathways. When we experience states of harmony, such as peace, joy, or gratitude, our bodies produce different hormones and neurotransmitters than when we experience disharmony through stress, anger, or fear. These biochemical changes influence everything from our immune function to our decision-making capacity. Even ecology offers evidence for the law of harmony, showing how balanced ecosystems thrive through the interdependent relationships between diverse organisms. When this harmony is disrupted, the entire system suffers, a parallel to how disharmony in our own lives creates ripple effects across our health, relationships, and circumstances. The relationship between harmony and abundance. One of the most compelling aspects of the law of harmony is its direct connection to abundance. When we align with universal energy, we remove the blocks and resistance that prevent abundance from flowing into our lives. This alignment doesn't just affect material prosperity, it encompasses all forms of abundance, including health, relationships, creativity, and spiritual fulfillment. Harmony creates abundance through several key mechanisms. 1. Energetic alignment. When our personal energy field harmonizes with the frequency of what we desire, we become a natural match for those experiences. Just as a radio must be tuned to the right frequency to receive a particular station clearly, we must align our energy with the frequency of abundance to receive it consistently. 2. Reduced resistance. Disharmony, whether through conflicting beliefs, negative emotions, or misaligned actions, creates resistance that blocks the flow of abundance. By cultivating harmony, we dissolve these blocks, allowing abundance to flow more freely into our experience. 3. Enhanced perception. When we exist in a harmonious state, our perception shifts. We become more attuned to opportunities, solutions, and blessings that might otherwise go unnoticed. This heightened awareness allows us to recognize and receive the abundance that's already present in our lives. 4. Magnetic attraction. Harmony creates a magnetic quality that naturally draws positive experiences, people, and circumstances toward us. This isn't mystical but practical. When we embody qualities like peace, joy, and gratitude, we become more attractive to others who value these qualities, creating a network effect that amplifies abundance. The role of ease in the law of harmony. The concept of ease is central to the law of harmony. Many of us have been conditioned to believe that success requires struggle, that worthwhile achievements must come through hardship. The law of harmony challenges this paradigm, suggesting that our most meaningful accomplishments can flow with grace when we align with universal energy. This doesn't mean we avoid effort entirely. Rather, it's about distinguishing between productive effort that flows with natural momentum versus forced effort that works against it. When we're aligned with harmony, our actions feel inspired rather than obligatory. We experience what psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi termed flow state, a condition where we're fully immersed in an activity with energized focus and enjoyment. Ease arises when we trust the universe's timing rather than forcing our own schedule, follow our authentic path instead of what others expect, act from inspiration rather than obligation, release attachment to specific outcomes while remaining committed to our intentions, recognize and use the support that's available rather than struggling alone. Benefits of applying the law of harmony. Embracing the law of harmony offers transformative benefits across all dimensions of life. Enhanced physical well-being. Living in harmony reduces the chronic stress that underlies many health conditions. When our bodies aren't constantly in fight or flight mode, our immune, digestive, and cardiovascular systems function more effectively. Many who practice harmony report improved sleep, higher energy levels, and greater resilience against illness. Emotional balance. Harmony cultivates emotional equilibrium, the ability to experience our feelings fully without being overwhelmed by them. Rather than suppressing emotions or being controlled by them, we learn to flow with emotional currents while maintaining inner stability. This balance leads to greater joy, deeper peace, and improved emotional intelligence. Mental clarity. When we align with harmony, our minds become clearer and more focused. The mental chatter that often clouds judgment diminishes, allowing for more creative solutions, better decisions, and enhanced learning capacity. Many report that problems that once seemed insurmountable become manageable when approached from a state of harmony. Spiritual connection. Harmony deepens our sense of connection with something greater than ourselves. Whether conceptualized as God, universal intelligence, source energy, or simply the interconnected web of life, this connection provides meaning, purpose, and guidance. Many experience this as a profound sense of belonging and support. Improved relationships. When we embody harmony, our relationships naturally improve. We become more patient, understanding, and compassionate. Our communication becomes clearer, and we're less reactive to others' behaviors. This shift creates a ripple effect, often inspiring those around us to relate to us with greater harmony as well. Increased synchronicity. Perhaps one of the most notable benefits of living in harmony is the increase in meaningful coincidences or synchronicities. When we're aligned with universal energy, we seem to be in the right place at the right time. Opportunities appear just when needed, and solutions emerge unexpected but perfect ways. Greater professional success. Contrary to no pain mentality, harmony often leads to greater success with less strain. When we're aligned with our authentic gifts and passions, work becomes more enjoyable and productive. We attract opportunities that match our strengths and collaborate more effectively with others. Practical implementation of the law of harmony. While the concept of harmony may seem abstract, its application is highly practical. Here are specific strategies for implementing this law in daily life. Cultivate inner harmony. Inner harmony forms the foundation for alignment with universal energy. Practical approaches included meditation. Regular meditation stabilizes your energy and attunes you to subtle guidance. Even 10-15 minutes daily can significantly enhance your sense of inner harmony. Emotional awareness. Practice recognizing and accepting your emotions without judgment. When challenging emotions arise, Acknowledge them compassionately while remembering their temporary experiences, not your core identity. Belief alignment: identify and transform limiting beliefs that create inner conflict. Ask yourself, what beliefs am I holding that create struggle rather than flow? Work with a journaling, therapy, or coaching to realign these beliefs with harmony. Physical practices: activities like a Tai Chi, Qigong, or even mindful walking help integrate mind, body, and spirit, creating a tangible experience of harmony that extends beyond practice sessions. Align with natural rhythms. The universe operates through natural cycles and rhythms. Harmonizing with these patterns creates flow in our lives. Circadian alignment: honor your body's natural sleep-wake cycle by maintaining consistent sleep times and exposing yourself to natural light during the day. A seasonal awareness: adjust your activities, diet, and energy expenditure to align with the seasonal shifts. Winter might call for more rest and reflection, while summer supports more outward activity. Energy management: notice your personal energy patterns. Schedule demanding tasks during your peak energy times and restorative activities during natural lulls. Lunar awareness: many find that tracking the moon's phases provides insight into optimal times for initiating projects at new moon versus completing and releasing them at full moon. Create environmental harmony. Your physical environment significantly impacts your energy. Create spaces that support harmonious living. Decluttering: remove items that no longer serve you or bring you joy. Physical clutter often creates energetic stagnation. Natural elements: incorporate plants, natural materials, and adequate natural light in your living and working spaces. Energy flow: arrange furniture to allow for comfortable movement throughout your space. Consider principles of Feng Shui to optimize energy circulation. A sacred space: designate an area, however small, dedicated to practices that nurture your connection with harmony. Whether meditation, prayer, artistic expression, or simply quiet reflection. Practice harmonious communication. How we communicate with others directly affects our alignment with universal energy. Authentic expression: speak your truth with kindness and without attachment to how it's received. Authenticity creates clear energy flow. Active listening: when others speak, listen to understand rather than to respond. This creates a harmonious exchange rather than competing monologues. Energy-aware interactions: notice how different conversations and people affect your energy. Without judgment, adjust your boundaries to maintain your alignment with harmony. A conflict transformation: rather than avoiding conflict or becoming combative, approach disagreements as opportunities to create deeper harmony through understanding different perspectives. Align your actions with your essence. Living in harmony means expressing your authentic self rather than conforming to external expectations. Purpose alignment: regularly reflect on whether your activities align with your core values and sense of purpose. Gradually shift your time and energy toward greater alignment. Intuitive decision making: complement logical analysis with intuitive guidance when making decisions. Notice how your body responds to different options. Tension often signals misalignment, while expansion suggests harmony. Inspired action: distinguish between actions motivated by fear, obligation, or external pressure versus those inspired by genuine enthusiasm and inner guidance. Whenever possible, prioritize the latter. The flow-based productivity rather than rigid scheduling: experiment with following your natural flow while maintaining commitments. This might mean working intensely when inspiration strikes and resting when energy naturally wanes. Cultivate harmonious relationships with resources. Our relationship with resources, money, time, energy, talents, significantly affects our alignment with universal abundance. A gratitude practice: regularly acknowledge and appreciate the resources already present in your life. This shifts your frequency from scarcity to abundance. Generosity: participate in the natural flow of giving and receiving. Share your resources in ways that feel joyful rather than depleting. Value recognition: honor the value of what you offer the world, whether through your work, creativity, or presence. Alignment with your worth creates harmony in how resources flow to you. Conscious consumption: make choices about how you use resources based on what truly enhances your well-being in alignment rather than temporary gratification or social status. Common obstacles to harmony and how to overcome them. Even with the best intentions, several common challenges can disrupt our alignment with harmony. The illusion of control. Many of us struggle with the desire to control outcomes, people, or circumstances beyond our influence. This creates resistance to the natural flow of universal energy. Solution: practice distinguishing between what you can influence and what you must accept. Focus your energy on the former while practicing surrender with the latter. Regular meditation on the Serenity Prayer, regardless of religious affiliation, can reinforce this distinction. Societal conditioning: our culture often glorifies business, struggle, and achievement at any cost, values that can oppose harmony. Solution: consciously examine the messages you've internalized about success, worth, and how life should be. Create a personal definition of success that emphasizes harmony, joy, and meaning rather than external metrics alone. Resistance to change. Universal energy is constantly evolving, yet we often resist change, creating friction with the natural flow. Solution: build your capacity to embrace change by starting with small, intentional shifts in your routine. Practice reframing changes as opportunities for growth rather than threats to stability. Regular exercises in adaptability. Trying new foods, routes, or activities. Strengthen your change muscles. Energetic depletion. Maintaining harmony requires energy. When depleted through overcommitment, poor boundaries, or inadequate self-care, alignment becomes difficult. Solution: prioritize energy management as fundamental to harmony. Identify your key energy drains and sources. Create daily and weekly practices that replenish your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual energy reserves. Unconscious patterns. Many disharmonious patterns operate below conscious awareness, sabotaging our intentions for alignment. Solution: develop greater self-awareness through reflective practices, feedback from trusted others, or work with a therapist or coach. Journal about recurring challenges to identify underlying patterns. Remember that awareness itself often begins the transformation process. The spiritual dimensions of harmony. Beyond its practical benefits, the law of harmony connects us with the deeper meaning and purpose of our existence. Many spiritual traditions recognize harmony as our natural state, our birthright that becomes obscured through conditioning and separation consciousness. By consciously aligning with harmony, we participate in what many traditions call our highest purposes, to be a unique expression of universal energy while remaining connected to its source. This perspective transforms spiritual practice from an obligation or escape to a joyful return to our essential nature. Harmony also expands our sense of connection beyond the personal to the collective. As we experience greater alignment within ourselves, we naturally contribute to the harmony of the greater systems we belong to. Our families, communities, ecosystems, and ultimately our planet. In this way, personal harmony becomes an act of service to the whole. Conclusion: harmony is a way of being. The law of harmony offers more than techniques for manifestation. It presents a comprehensive approach to living. By aligning with universal energy, we discover that abundance and ease aren't external conditions to be achieved but natural expressions of our harmonious state of being. This alignment doesn't guarantee freedom from challenges. Indeed, disruptions to harmony provide valuable feedback and opportunities for growth. The difference is that when we understand the law of harmony, we no longer interpret challenges as punishments or failures, but as invitations to deeper alignment. As you integrate this law into your life, approach it with patience and compassion. Harmony isn't perfection, it's a dynamic balance that sometimes wobbles as we grow. Each time you notice disharmony, you have an opportunity to make adjustments that bring you back into alignment with universal energy. Through consistent practice, what begins as conscious effort eventually becomes your natural way of being. You'll find yourself instinctively making choices that enhance harmony, recognizing dissonance earlier, and returning to alignment more quickly. This evolution doesn't just transform your personal experience. It contributes to the harmony of all life, fulfilling one of the deepest purposes of human existence. The law of harmony reminds us that we aren't separate from the universe, but integral participants in its unfolding. When we align with its energy, we don't just receive abundance, we become conduits through which abundance flows to everyone and everything we touch, creating a legacy of harmony that extends far beyond our individual lives. The law of right action, a comprehensive guide. The law of right action stands as one of the most profound yet often overlooked principles within the broader collection of universal laws that govern our existence. This principle establishes that being kind, ethical, and compassionate in your actions creates a positive energy field around you that naturally attracts similar positive experiences, opportunities, and relationships back into your life. Understanding the core of the law of right action. At its essence, the law of right action operates on the premise that our behaviors create energy patterns that resonate throughout the universe. Unlike some other attraction principles that focus on thoughts or visualization, this law centers specifically on our conduct and how we treat ourselves and others. It suggests that the moral quality of our actions, their kindness, ethicality, and compassion, directly influences what we attract into our lives. This law functions as a natural extension of karma, the age-old concept that what you put out returns to you. However, it goes deeper by suggesting that right action isn't just about avoiding negative consequences, but actively cultivating a life of abundance through principled living. The right actions referenced in this law aren't merely those that appear positive on the surface, but those that stem from authentic positive intention and align with your higher purpose. Actions that taken with ulterior motives, even seemingly kind ones, carry a different energetic signature that doesn't activate this law's full potential. Scientific and psychological foundations. While some may view the law of right action through a spiritual lens, modern science offers compelling explanations for its effectiveness. Neurological research has demonstrated that acts of kindness trigger the release of oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin, hormones associated with happiness, reduce stress, and improved overall well-being. This helper's high creates a positive physiological state that makes us more receptive to opportunities and more likely to make beneficial connections. Psychologically, practicing right action builds what researchers call moral capital, a reserve of goodwill that often translates into tangible benefits. When we consistently act with integrity, we develop a reputation that opens doors professionally and personally. People naturally want to help, collaborate with, and support those they perceive as kind and ethical. Furthermore, those who consistently practice right action develop greater emotional intelligence, empathy, and social awareness, skills that correlate strongly with success across all life domains. By understanding others' needs and perspectives, practitioners of this law navigate complex social situations more effectively and build stronger relationships. The benefits of living by the law of right action. Implementing this law in your daily life yields numerous benefits that extend far beyond simple karmic returns. Enhanced relationships. When you consistently act with kindness and integrity, you naturally attract people who value and reciprocate these qualities. Your relationships, both personal and professional, become more meaningful, supportive, and enduring. Toxic connections tend to naturally fall away as your energy no longer resonates with them. The depth of your connections also increases. Rather than superficial interactions, you experience relationships characterized by trust, vulnerability, and authentic exchange. These connections become powerful sources of support, opportunity, and growth in your life. Improved self-perception. Living by this law fundamentally transforms how you view yourself. With each ethical choice and compassionate act, you reinforce your identity as someone worthy of respect and good fortune. This positive self-concept creates a powerful internal alignment that makes you more receptive to opportunities and resilient in the face of challenges. This improved self-perception creates a virtuous cycle. The better you feel about yourself, the more naturally right action flows from you, which further enhances your self-image. Over time, this positive feedback loop transforms not just your circumstances, but your fundamental relationship with yourself. Greater peace of mind. Ethical living eliminates the cognitive dissonance that comes from acting against your values. When your actions align with your highest principles, you experience psychological coherence that manifests as inner peace. This mental clarity allows you to more readily recognize and seize positive opportunities when they appear. This peace extends to reduced anxiety about the future. Those who consistently practice right action develop a deep trust in life's unfolding, knowing they've created positive momentum through their choices. This trust alone attracts more positive circumstances by reducing resistance and fear. Increased synchronicity. Many practitioners report experiencing more coincidences or synchronistic events after committing to right action. These seemingly magical occurrences, meeting the right person at the right time or discovering exactly what you need when you need it, often emerge from the expanded awareness and receptivity that ethical living creates. This increase in synchronicity stems partly from the expanded network of goodwill you create through positive actions. When many people hold you in high regard and wish you well, the collective power of that positive attention manifests as fortunate circumstances in your life. Heightened intuition. Regular practice of right action gradually refines your intuitive faculties. By consistently choosing the higher path, you develop a finer attunement to subtle energies and inner guidance. This enhanced intuition further supports your ability to make wise choices and recognize beneficial opportunities. This intuitive development occurs because ethical living requires presence, attentiveness, and receptivity, the same qualities that nurture intuition. As you practice being fully present with others in compassionate exchanges, you simultaneously strengthen your connection to your inner knowing. Implementing the law of right action in daily life. Understanding this law theoretically offers limited benefit. Its true power emerges through consistent implementation. Here are practical approaches to integrate this principle into your daily experience. Cultivate radical honesty. Begin with a commitment to truthfulness in all communications, with yourself and others. This doesn't mean brutal honesty that disregards others' feelings, but rather speaking your truth with kindness and appropriate timing. Notice how this transparency creates trust and attracts people who value authenticity. Start with small truths if complete honesty feels overwhelming. Even minor shifts toward greater truthfulness create ripples of positive energy that gradually transform your reality. Pay attention to how your relationships shift as you commit to genuine expression. Practice mindful giving. Develop a habit of giving without expectation of return. This might involve material gifts, your time and attention, or simply acknowledging others' value through sincere compliments. The key is maintaining pure intention, giving for the joy of contribution rather than to create obligation. Experiment with anonymous giving to purify your intentions further. When you give without anyone knowing the source, you eliminate the possibility of giving for recognition or praise. This type of giving creates especially powerful positive energy because of its purity of purpose. Align actions with values. Take time to identify your core values, then regularly assess whether your actions reflect these principles. When faced with decisions, ask yourself, does this choice align with who I truly am and who I want to become? This practice creates powerful congruence that amplifies your attractive power. Consider creating a personal code of ethics based on your values. Having clear guidelines simplifies decision-making and ensures your actions consistently reflect your highest principles. Revisit and refine this code periodically as you evolve and grow. Develop compassionate boundaries. Right action doesn't mean sacrificing your well-being for others. Learn to establish healthy boundaries that honor both yourself and those around you. True compassion sometimes requires saying no or limiting your availability to maintain your energy and integrity. Remember that setting boundaries is itself an act of compassion. It allows relationships to develop honestly and prevents the resentment that stems from overextending yourself. Clear boundaries actually create more positive energy than self-sacrifice that depletes you. Practice forgiveness. Holding grudges creates energetic blocks that prevent positive experiences from flowing into your life. Develop a practice of forgiveness, not necessarily to reconcile with those who've harmed you but to free yourself from the burden of resentment. Notice how this liberation creates space for new possibilities. Begin with self-forgiveness if forgiveness of others seems too challenging. Many of us hold ourselves to impossibly high standards, and releasing self-judgment creates tremendous positive energy. As you develop compassion for your own shortcomings, extending it to others becomes more natural. Engage in regular self-examination. Set aside time for honest reflection on your behaviors and their alignment with right action. Without judgment, note where you might have acted from fear, scarcity, or ego rather than from your highest self. Use these observations not for self-criticism but as opportunities for growth. Consider keeping an ethical journal where you record challenges, insights, and victories in your practice of right action. This documentation helps you recognize patterns and track your progress, reinforcing your commitment to living by this powerful law. Cultivate present moment awareness. Right action emerges naturally when you're fully present. Develop mindfulness practices that anchor you in the here and now, allowing you to respond to situations with clear awareness, rather than automatic reactivity. This presence itself attracts positive circumstances by aligning you with life's natural flow. Even brief moments of presence throughout your day, really listening when someone speaks, fully engaging with your current task, or simply pausing to breathe consciously, create ripples of positive energy that gradually transform your experience. Overcoming challenges in practicing right action. While the benefits of this law are profound, implementing it isn't always straightforward. You may encounter these common challenges, facing initial resistance. When you first commit to right action, you might experience what appears to be negative results. Perhaps people taking advantage of your kindness or opportunities seemingly passing you by. Trust that this is often the universe clearing outdated patterns to make way for new, more aligned experiences. During this clearing phase, maintain your commitment without attachment to immediate results. The law works on its own timeline, and patience during this recalibration period eventually yields powerful positive momentum. Navigating ethical complexity. Sometimes determining the right action isn't obvious, particularly when values appear to conflict. In these situations, quiet contemplation, seeking wisdom from trusted advisors, and listening to your deepest intuition can provide guidance aligned with your highest good. Remember that the intent behind your action carries tremendous energetic weight. When truly uncertain, choose the path motivated by the purest intention and greatest compassion, even if the external action itself seems imperfect. Maintaining consistency. Perhaps the greatest challenge is sustaining right action during difficult times, or when facing others who don't operate by the same principles. During these periods, remember that your commitment isn't dependent on external circumstances or others' behaviors. It's a choice you make regardless of conditions. Create support systems that reinforce your commitment to right action. This might include like-minded friends, inspirational reading, or regular practices that reconnect you with your deeper values when external pressures challenge your resolve. The transformative journey. Embracing the law of right action isn't merely about attracting specific outcomes. It represents a fundamental shift in how you engage with life. As you consistently align your behaviors with kindness, ethics, and compassion, you don't just change what you attract, you transform who you are. This transformation occurs gradually but inevitably. Each right action reinforces neural pathways associated with compassion and integrity, literally rewiring your brain for greater positivity. Your capacity for empathy expands, your perception becomes more nuanced, and your natural state shifts toward greater peace and joy. Perhaps most profoundly, practicing this law connects you with something larger than yourself. Whether you conceptualize this as universal energy, collective consciousness, or spiritual reality, right action places you in harmony with life's fundamental goodness. This alignment itself becomes the greatest reward, more valuable than any specific manifestation. As you continue implementing this powerful law, remember that its true magic lies not in what you receive but in who you become through its practice. The kindness, ethics, and compassion you cultivate create not just a better life for yourself but a better world for all. This may well be the law's greatest gift. The opportunity to participate consciously in creating a more compassionate and just reality through the simple yet profound choice to act from your highest self in each moment. The law of universal influence. Understanding your impact on the world. The law of universal influence stands as one of the most profound yet often underappreciated principles governing our existence. This fundamental law establishes that your energy and actions create ripples that extend far beyond your immediate environment, affecting everything and everyone around you in ways both seen and unseen. More than just a spiritual concept, this principle intersects with science, with psychology, and practical daily living to shape the very fabric of our interconnected reality. The core principle: everything is connected. At its essence, the law of universal influence recognizes that we exist within an intricate web of relationships and energetic connections. Nothing in this universe exists in isolation. Every thought you think, word you speak, and action you take generates energetic vibrations that ripple outward, affecting not only your immediate surroundings but eventually the entire universal system. This principle finds scientific support in quantum physics, where the observer effect demonstrates that merely observing a particle can change its behavior. Similarly, chaos theory's butterfly effect suggests that a butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil might ultimately cause a tornado in Texas. These scientific concepts mirror the spiritual understanding that even our smallest actions can produce significant consequences across time and space. The law of universal influence also aligns with ancient wisdom traditions. Buddhist teachings on interdependence of Pratisama Pde emphasize that all phenomena arise together in a mutually interdependent web of cause and effect. Indigenous philosophies worldwide similarly recognize the fundamental interconnectedness of all living beings and natural systems. Understanding this law reveals that you never act in isolation. Every choice you make, whether seemingly insignificant or momentous, sends energetic ripples throughout the entire universal system, eventually returning to affect your own experience of reality. The scientific foundation. While often discussed in spiritual contexts, the law of universal influence finds substantial validation in modern science of quantum entanglement. Quantum physics has demonstrated that particles once connected maintain that connection regardless of distance. When one particle is affected, its entangled partner instantaneously responds even across vast distances. This phenomenon, which Einstein famously called spooky action at a distance, suggests a deeper level of connectivity in our universe than classical physics recognized. This entanglement serves as a powerful metaphor, and perhaps literal mechanism for understanding how your energy influences others. Just as entangled particles remain connected across space, your energetic state can affect those with whom you've formed connections, regardless of physical proximity. Field theories. Scientific concepts like morphic resonance, proposed by biologist Rupert Sheldrake, suggest that similar patterns of activity resonate across time and space. According to this theory, once a pattern is established, it becomes easier for that same pattern to occur elsewhere through an invisible connecting field. Similarly, research into heart coherence conducted by the HeartMath Institute demonstrates that the human heart generates a measurable electromagnetic field extending several feet from the body. This field can influence nearby organisms and potentially serves as a mechanism for energetic exchange between individuals. Systems theory. Modern systems theory recognizes that complex systems, from ecosystems to social networks, function as integrated wholes where changes to one part necessitate adjustments throughout the entire system. This scientific framework provides another lens for understanding how your influence extends beyond immediate interactions. When you introduce change into any system you're part of, whether family, workplace, or community, that system must reorganize to accommodate your influence. This reorganization creates cascading effects that potentially transform the entire system in ways you might never witness directly. The spheres of influence. Your influence operates across multiple interconnected spheres, each with its own dynamics and reach. The personal sphere. Your first sphere of influence encompasses your own consciousness, your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and internal states. These inner conditions profoundly shape your perception, decisions, and behaviors. By cultivating positive internal states, you create the foundation for positive ripple effects across all other spheres. This personal sphere also includes your physical body, which responds to your thoughts and emotions through neurochemical and hormonal changes. Your internal state literally shapes your biology, which in turn affects how you interact with the world around you. The interpersonal sphere. Your energy and actions directly impact those with whom you interact daily. This includes family members, friends, colleagues, and even strangers you briefly encounter. Research on emotional contagion demonstrates that humans automatically synchronize with others' emotional states through unconscious mimicry of facial expressions, vocalizations, and body language. A landmark study published in the British Medical Journal found that happiness spreads through social networks up to 3 degrees of separation, affecting friends of friends of friends. Similarly, your stress, enthusiasm, compassion, or frustration creates waves that extend far beyond your direct contacts. The collective sphere. Beyond personal relationships, your influence extends to the collective fields of consciousness that shape communities, organizations, and society at large. While more diffuse, this influence remains significant, especially when aligned with others sharing similar intentions. Research on the Maharishi effect suggests that when a critical mass of people practice meditation together, measurable reductions in crime, violence, and accidents occur in the surrounding area. While controversial, these studies point toward the potential of collective consciousness to influence material reality. The environmental sphere. Your actions also impact the physical environment, from your immediate surroundings to the planet's ecosystems. This influence operates through both physical actions and consumption patterns, waste production, conservation efforts, and the more subtle energetic quality you bring to natural spaces. Some researchers propose that human consciousness can influence physical systems in measurable ways. The Global Consciousness Project, run by researchers from Princeton University, maintains random number generators worldwide that show anomalous patterns during major global events, suggesting a potential link between collective human attention and physical systems. Benefits of understanding the law of universal influence. Recognizing and consciously working with this law offers profound benefits for personal development and collective well-being. Expanded self-awareness. Understanding your influence fosters greater mindfulness about your internal states and external actions. You become increasingly conscious of the energy you generate and how it affects others, leading to more deliberate choices aligned with your highest values. This expanded awareness also reveals your power to effect positive change. Rather than feeling like an insignificant individual in a vast universe, you recognize that your choices matter and contribute meaningfully to the collective experience. Enhanced responsibility. The law of universal influence naturally cultivates a sense of responsibility for your energetic contributions. Recognizing that every thought and action sends ripples throughout the system encourages careful consideration of your choices and their potential consequences. This responsibility extends beyond obvious actions to include your thought patterns, emotional states, and the quality of presence you bring to each interaction. You begin to see that maintaining inner harmony isn't merely a personal matter but a gift you offer the world. Greater compassion. Understanding your interconnectedness with all beings naturally fosters compassion. When you truly recognize that others' suffering and joy are not separate from your own experience, empathy arises organically, and compassionate action becomes a natural expression of this recognition. This compassion extends beyond humans to include all living beings and the earth itself. You develop what eco-philosophers call an ecological self, an identity that includes the wider web of life rather than ending at your skin boundary. Purposeful living. Perhaps the most powerful benefit is the sense of purpose that emerges when you understand that your presence matters, that your energy creates ripples affecting countless others. Each moment becomes an opportunity to contribute positively to the whole. This purpose transcends conventional measures of success to embrace the quality of your energetic contribution. Success becomes defined not merely by what you achieve but by who you become and how your presence influences the greater whole. Practical implementation working with the law of universal influence. Understanding this law intellectually offers limited benefit. Its true power emerges through conscious implementation in daily life. Cultivate energetic awareness. Begin by developing sensitivity to your own energetic state and how it influences environments and people around you. Notice how rooms feel different depending on who occupies them, and what emotional states predominate. Observe how your own presence affects these collective fields. Practice regularly checking in with your energetic state, especially before entering important interactions or spaces. Ask yourself, what energy am I bringing to this situation? How might this affect others and the outcome of this interaction? Practice energetic hygiene. Just as you maintain physical hygiene, develop practices for energetic cleansing and renewal. This might include meditation, time in nature, movement practices, or creative expression, whatever helps you release accumulated stress and restore your natural vibrance. Be particularly mindful of digital influences on your energetic state. News consumption, social media, and entertainment choices significantly impact your internal condition and consequently, the energy you transmit to others. Cultivate positive resonance. Intentionally generate positive energetic states that benefit both yourself and others. Research from positive psychology suggests that practices like gratitude, appreciation, compassion, meditation, and conscious kindness create measurable improvements in well-being that extend beyond the practitioner. The Heart Math Institute recommends heart-focused breathing while generating feelings of appreciation or care. This simple practice creates coherent heart rhythms that not only benefit your health but potentially influence others in your proximity through electromagnetic field interactions. Mind your micro-decisions. Recognize that seemingly small choices, how you respond to a cashier, whether you let someone merge in traffic, the tone you use with family members, create significant ripple effects. These micro-decisions might appear inconsequential but collectively shape the energetic quality of your contribution to the whole. Challenge yourself to bring conscious awareness to these small moments, treating each as an opportunity to contribute positively to the universal field. Notice how this attentiveness gradually transforms your default responses in all situations. Leverage system points. Systems theorists identify leverage points, where small changes produce outsized effects throughout an entire system. In your personal and professional life, look for these high-leverage opportunities where your influence might catalyze significant positive change. These points often involve connecting previously separate individuals or groups, introducing new information into closed systems, or modeling alternative behaviors that challenge limiting norms. By strategically directing your energy toward these leverage points, you multiply your positive influence. Practice conscious speech. Words carry tremendous power to shape reality, both your own and others. Develop awareness of how your speech patterns, word choices, and tone affect energetic fields. Practice speaking truth with kindness, avoiding gossip, and using language that uplifts rather than diminishes. Consider adopting specific practices like speaking affirmatively, stating what you want rather than what you don't want, and using side statements that take responsibility for your experience rather than projecting it onto others or circumstances. Create intentional ripples. Rather than allowing your influence to spread unconsciously, deliberately create positive ripples through acts of kindness, beauty, and service. Research confirms that kindness is contagious. Recipients of kind acts are more likely to extend kindness to others, creating cascading benefits throughout social networks. Consider implementing a practice of daily intentional ripples. Small actions specifically designed to create positive effects beyond yourself. These might be as simple as a genuine compliment, an encouraging message, or momentarily holding space for someone in distress. Navigating challenges and working with universal influence. While powerful, this law presents certain challenges in its implementation. The invisibility challenge. Perhaps the greatest obstacle to working with universal influence is the invisibility of most ripple effects. You rarely witness the full impact of your actions and energy, making it difficult to maintain motivation and trust in the process. To address this challenge, cultivate trust in natural law while remaining detached from seeing immediate results. Periodically reflect on instances where you've witnessed the ripple effect in action, building an evidence base that strengthens your conviction in these principles. The overwhelm challenge. Recognizing your widespread influence can sometimes create a sense of overwhelming responsibility. If every thought and action affects the whole, the pressure to maintain perfect energetic hygiene might become paralyzing. Remember that this law doesn't demand perfection but consciousness. The goal isn't flawless energetic output but awareness and sincere effort. When you notice yourself generating negative ripples, Simply acknowledge this without judgment and recommit to positive influence. The discernment challenge. As you become more sensitive to energetic dynamics, distinguishing between your own energy and external influences becomes increasingly important. Without this discernment, you might absorb other states or take responsibility for conditions beyond your control. Develop practices for energetic boundaries. Techniques that allow you to remain empathetically connected while maintaining your distinct energetic integrity. Regular grounding practices, visualization techniques, and physical activities can help maintain these boundaries. The transformational journey. Embracing the law of universal influence initiates a profound transformation in how you experience yourself and your place in the world. This journey typically unfolds through several phases: awakening to connection. Initially, you begin recognizing the subtle ways your energy affects others and environments. What previously seemed like coincidence now appears as natural consequence. You notice how your presence changes room dynamics and how your internal state influences interactions. This awakening often brings both wonder and sobriety. Wonder at the magical interconnectedness of all things, and sobriety regarding the responsibility this connection entails. Developing energetic literacy. As your sensitivity increases, you develop greater discernment about energetic qualities and their effects. You learn to distinguish between different types of influence and recognize both your own energetic patterns and those operating in collective fields. This literacy extends to understanding how different environments, relationships, and activities affect your own energetic state and, consequently, what you transmit to others. Conscious co-creation. Eventually, you move from merely responding to energetic dynamics to actively co-creating them. You recognize yourself as a conscious contributor to the universal field and deliberately shape your energetic output to benefit the whole. At this stage, you're no longer simply avoiding negative influence but strategically generating positive ripples that serve your highest vision for yourself and the world. Transcending separation. The deepest transformation occurs as you increasingly experience yourself not as a separate entity influencing others but as an integral expression of the universal whole. The very distinction between self and other softens, revealing a more fundamental unity underlying apparent separation. From this perspective, the law of universal influence becomes less about your personal impact on an external world and more about the universe experiencing and expressing itself through your unique form. This shift doesn't diminish responsibility but transforms its nature, rooting it in love rather than obligation. Conclusion. Your ripple in the cosmic ocean. The law of universal influence reveals that you are never just an isolated individual but a nexus of infinite connections within the cosmic web. Every moment presents an opportunity to contribute consciously to the quality of this web, sending ripples of positivity that extend far beyond what you can perceive. By understanding and working with this fundamental principle, you transform not only your own experience but potentially the trajectory of countless interconnected lives. Though you may never witness most of these effects, trust that your conscious presence matters, that the quality of energy you cultivate and express shapes the world in ways both subtle and profound. In a universe where everything influences everything else, the question isn't whether you'll make a difference but what kind of difference you'll make. By embracing this law, you accept the invitation to become a conscious creator, using your inevitable influence to contribute to the greater harmony, beauty, and awakening of the whole. The Law of Energy Transmutation. Transforming negative to positive. The law of energy transmutation stands as one of the most empowering principles among the universal laws of attraction. At its core, this fundamental law establishes that energy cannot be created or destroyed but can be changed from one form to another. Applied to human experience, it means that negative energy, whether in the form of emotions, thoughts, circumstances, or experiences, can be consciously transformed into positive, constructive energy through awareness and intention. This transformative principle offers not just philosophical comfort but practical power in navigating life's challenges. Rather than being victims of negative circumstances or emotional states, we become alchemists capable of transmuting life's lead into gold. Understanding and applying this law enables you to reclaim your power in situations where you might otherwise feel helpless, turning obstacles into opportunities and pain into purpose. The scientific and philosophical foundation. While often discussed in spiritual contexts, the law of energy transmutation rests on solid scientific and philosophical foundations that span multiple disciplines and traditions. Physics and thermodynamics. The first law of thermodynamics, the conservation of energy, states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, only transformed from one form to another. This principle from classical physics provides the scientific foundation for energy transmutation. Just as physical energy changes forms, a kinetic to potential, chemical to thermal, Emotional and mental energies can similarly transform without losing their essential power. Quantum physics further illuminates this law by revealing that everything, at its most fundamental level, is energy in various states of vibration. Our thoughts and emotions represent specific energy frequencies that can be altered through conscious intervention. When understood from this perspective, changing a negative thought into a positive one isn't psychological gymnastics but an actual shift in energy frequency. Ancient wisdom traditions. This principle appears across numerous ancient systems. The Taoist philosophy speaks of qi, a life force energy that can be directed and transformed through practices like Tai Chi and Qigong. Yogic traditions reference prana, vital energy, that can be purified and elevated through breath control and meditation. Hermetic philosophy, particularly in alchemical traditions, explicitly addresses the transmutation of base energies into higher forms, symbolized by turning lead into gold. The Buddhist practices like Tonglen meditation directly apply this principle by taking in suffering and sending out compassion. These diverse traditions, separated by geography and time, independently recognize the possibility of transforming energy from lower to higher states through conscious practice, a testament to the universal nature of this law. Understanding the mechanics of energy transmutation. To effectively work with this law, it's essential to understand how energy transmutation actually occurs within human experience. The energy spectrum. All energy exists on a spectrum of frequency, from the densest, lowest vibrations to the lightest, highest frequencies. Emotions like shame, guilt, fear and anger vibrate at lower, denser frequencies, while joy, peace, gratitude, and love resonate at higher frequencies. These aren't merely subjective experiences but actual energetic states that affect our physical bodies, mental clarity, and capacity for effective action. Lower frequency energies feel heavy, constrictive, and draining, while higher frequencies feel expansive, light, and energizing. The transmutation process involves consciously shifting energy up this spectrum to more beneficial, constructive frequencies. The awareness bridge. The critical first step in any transmutation is awareness, the conscious recognition of energy, without judgment or resistance. When you're caught in a negative emotional state or circumstance, the transformative process begins with simply acknowledging, "This is anger I'm feeling," or "This is a challenging situation." This awareness creates separation between you, the conscious observer, and the energy itself, preventing complete identification with the negative state. This space, however slight, between you and the energy you're experiencing allows for the possibility of transformation. Without awareness, you remain unconsciously fused with the energy, allowing it to dictate your thoughts and actions automatically. The role of acceptance. Paradoxically, transmutation requires first accepting the energy as it is. Resistance to negative energy actually strengthens it, creating an internal struggle that consumes more energy and deepens entanglement with the very state you wish to transform. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation or approval but rather a recognition of what is without wasting energy fighting against reality. When you fully accept negative energy, whether it's anger, fear, disappointment, or any other challenging state, you stop feeding it with resistance and create the conditions necessary for transformation. As Carl Jung insightfully noted, what you resist persists. The power of intention. With awareness and acceptance established, intention becomes the catalyst for actual transmutation. By consciously choosing to redirect the energy toward a higher purpose or perspective, you initiate the alchemical process. This intention isn't wishful thinking but a deliberate decision to channel the energy differently, to use its power for constructive rather than destructive purposes. The stronger and clearer your intention, the more effective the transmutation process becomes. Vague or half-hearted intentions produce partial transformations, while focused, heart-centered intentions facilitate complete energy shifts. The benefits of mastering energy transmutation. Developing the ability to transmute energy offers numerous benefits that extend far beyond momentary emotional relief. Emotional resilience. Perhaps the most immediate benefit is developing emotional resilience, the ability to navigate challenging feelings without being overwhelmed or derailed by them, rather than avoiding difficult emotions, which drives them underground where they gain strength, or being consumed by them. You learn to work with their energy constructively. This resilience doesn't mean you never experience negative emotions, but rather that you develop confidence in your ability to transform them when they arise. This confidence itself becomes a powerful psychological resource that supports overall well-being. Improved relationships. When you can transmute reactive energies rather than projecting them onto others, your relationships naturally improve. Conflicts that might have previously escalated through mutual reactivity can be transformed through your ability to work with difficult emotions internally rather than expressing them destructively. Additionally, Your capacity to transform negative energy becomes a gift to others, creating space for more authentic, compassionate connections. You become a stabilizing presence that helps others regulate their own emotional states. Enhanced creativity and problem solving. Transmuted energy becomes available for creative purposes. Many artists, inventors, and change makers throughout history have channeled challenging life experiences into creative work that benefited humanity. The energy that might have been consumed by resentment, grief, or anger becomes fuel for innovation and expression. This principle applies equally to everyday problem solving. The energy of frustration with a situation can be transmuted into determination to find solutions. The energy of fear can be transformed into heightened awareness that perceives new possibilities. Physical health improvement. The mind-body connection means that energy transmutation affects physical well-being. Negative emotional states create stress hormones and inflammatory responses that, when chronic, contribute to various health problems. By transforming these emotional energies, you reduce the physiological burden on your body and support its natural healing processes. Research in psychoneuroimmunology continues to reveal how emotional states directly immune function, inflammation levels, and cellular health. Energy transmutation thus becomes a practical health intervention, not merely a psychological technique. Spiritual development. From a spiritual perspective, the practice of energy transmutation accelerates evolution of consciousness. By learning to work consciously with energy rather than being unconsciously driven by it, you develop greater sovereignty over your inner life and align more fully with your higher purpose. This practice also strengthens your connection to something larger than yourself. Whether you conceptualize this as universal energy, divine presence, or simply the interconnected field of life. The more adept you become at transmutation, the more you experience yourself as a conscious participant in the creative unfolding of existence. Practical methods for energy transmutation. Understanding energy transmutation conceptually offers limited benefit. Its power emerges through consistent practice. Here are practical approaches to transmuting energy in daily life. Breath work. The breath serves as an immediate tool for energy transformation. When experiencing negative emotions or encountering challenging circumstances, 1. Take several deep, conscious breaths, extending the exhale longer than the inhale. 2. Visualize inhaling pure positive energy and exhaling the dense, negative energy. 3. With each breath, imagine the negative energy gradually lightening and transforming. This simple practice works with the biological connection between breath and autonomic nervous system function, shifting from sympathetic fight or flight to parasympathetic rest and digest activation. Physiological transmutation that supports emotional transformation. Conscious movement. Physical movement provides a powerful channel for transmuting stuck or stagnant energy. Practices like yoga, tai chi, qigong, or even conscious dancing help energy move through the body rather than remaining trapped in specific areas, which often manifests as tension or pain. When working specifically with negative energy, allow your movement to express the energy initially, then consciously shift toward movements that express the quality you wish to embody. For instance, if transmuting anger, you might begin with strong, forceful movements that gradually transform into flowing, expansive ones. Reframing and perspective shifting. Cognitive reframing. Consciously choosing a different perspective on a situation facilitates energy transmutation at the mental level. When facing challenges, ask empowering questions that redirect energy. What's the opportunity in this difficulty? How might this situation be serving my growth? What strength is this challenge helping me develop? These questions don't deny the reality of difficulties but transform your relationship with them, changing the energetic quality of your experience. Creative expression. Artistic expression offers a powerful channel for transmutation. Writing, painting, music, dance, or any creative pursuit can serve as an alchemical vessel for transforming difficult energies into beauty, meaning, or insight. The key to using creativity for transmutation is approaching it with conscious intention rather than simply venting or expressing the negative energy. Allow the initial expression, then consciously work with the medium to transform it into something that carries a different quality or message. Energetic practices. Specific energy work techniques facilitate transmutation. 1. Energy clearing. Visualize a cleansing light or flame moving through your energy field, transforming dense energies into light. 2. Chakra balancing. Work with the traditional energy centers to release blocked energy and restore balanced flow. 3. Grounding. Connect with earth energy to help transmute overwhelming emotions by literally grounding excess charge. 4. Heart coherence. Focus attention on the heart area while generating feelings of appreciation or gratitude, which creates measurable changes in heart rhythm patterns and facilitates energy transformation. These practices work directly with subtle energy systems and can be especially effective for sensitive individuals who easily perceive energy dynamics. Service and contribution. One of the most powerful methods for transmuting difficult personal energy is channeling it into service to others. The energy that might have been consumed by self-focused emotions like resentment or self-pity can be redirected toward helping others facing similar or greater challenges. This approach doesn't suppress the original feelings but transforms their purpose, using their power to fuel compassionate action rather than internal suffering. Many healing professionals and social change advocates have utilized this form of transmutation, turning their own wounds into sources of understanding and motivation to help others. Overcoming common obstacles in energy transmutation. While powerful, the practice of energy transmutation comes with challenges that require awareness and persistence to overcome. The authenticity concern. Some worry that transmuting negative emotions means denying or suppressing authentic feelings. This misconception confuses transmutation with repression. True transmutation always begins with honest acknowledgement of what is present, never with denial. The energy isn't eliminated but redirected and transformed. Its essential power remains but serves a different purpose. When this concern arises, remember that transmutation honors the energy by recognizing its message and using its power constructively, rather than suppressing it or allowing it to cause harm. The depth dilemma. Not all negative energy responds to the same transmutation approach. Surface-level irritations might transmute easily with simple breath work, while deeper traumas or persistent patterns require more comprehensive approaches. Frustration often arises when attempting to transmute deeply entrenched energies with techniques better suited for lighter challenges. Develop discernment about the depth of the energy you're working with, and be willing to seek appropriate support for transmuting energies connected to significant trauma or long-standing patterns. Sometimes professional guidance creates the safe container needed for transforming particularly challenging energies. The patience paradox. Energy transmutation sometimes occurs instantaneously but more often unfolds gradually, especially when working with long-established patterns. The desire for immediate transformation can actually impede the process by creating frustration or self-judgment when change doesn't happen quickly. Approach transmutation with patience, recognizing that larger energy patterns may transform incrementally rather than all at once. Celebrate small shifts and trust the process, understanding that consistent practice produces cumulative effects that eventually reach critical mass. The integration challenge. Successfully transmuted energy requires integration, incorporating the wisdom gained through the transmutation process into your ongoing life experience. Without integration, you might repeatedly encounter similar situations that generate the same negative energy, creating an exhausting cycle of continuous transmutation. Take time to reflect on insights that emerge through transmutation practices. Ask what the original negative energy was trying to communicate and what boundary, need, or truth it might have been pointing toward. This integration phase transforms momentary energy shifts into lasting evolution. The evolutionary journey of energy transmutation. As you consistently practice energy transmutation, your relationship with this law evolves through several stages. Stage 1: Reactive transmutation. Initially, you apply transmutation techniques reactively, when already caught in negative states or challenging circumstances. While still beneficial, this approach is limited to damage control and recovery rather than prevention. Stage 2: Anticipatory transmutation. With greater awareness, you begin recognizing patterns that typically generate negative energy and apply transmutation principles proactively. You develop sensitivity to the early signs of energy shifts and intervene before becoming fully engulfed in lower frequencies. Stage 3: Environmental transmutation. Your growing mastery extends beyond personal energy to include environments and collective fields. You develop the capacity to shift the energy of rooms, conversations, or groups through your presence and conscious intention, becoming a transformative influence without direct intervention. Stage 4: Instantaneous transmutation. At advanced levels, transmutation becomes nearly instantaneous. Negative energies are recognized and transformed so quickly that they never fully materialize as problematic states. This doesn't mean you never experience challenges, but your relationship with energy becomes so fluid that transformation occurs within the initial awareness of any shift. Stage 5: Embodied transmutation. The ultimate expression of this law is living as an embodiment of transmutation itself. Your very presence serves as a catalyst for transformation, not through technique but through being. You become a living example of the possibility of transmuting darkness into light, suffering into wisdom, and separation into connection. Conclusion: the transformative power of conscious alchemy. The law of energy transmutation offers a profound invitation to reclaim your creative power in relationship to all of life's experiences. Rather than being victimized by circumstances or dominated by challenging emotions, you develop the capacity to work consciously with these energies, transforming potential obstacles into stepping stones on your path. This alchemical ability doesn't eliminate life difficulties but transforms your relationship with them, revealing that the very energies that seem most problematic often contain the seeds of your greatest growth and gifts. The anger that initially appears destructive contains passion that, when transmuted, fuels positive change. The grief that feels overwhelming carries depth of feeling that, when transformed, enriches compassion and appreciation. By mastering this fundamental law, you participate consciously in your own evolution, using every experience, however challenging, as an opportunity to transform energy in service of greater awareness, love, and creative expression. In doing so, you not only enhance your individual life but contribute to the collective transformation of consciousness that our world so urgently needs. The Law of Polarity, harnessing the power of opposites. The Law of Polarity stands as one of the most profound yet often misunderstood universal principles. This fundamental law reveals that everything in existence has two poles, opposite aspects that are different but inseparably connected. Hot and cold, light and dark, love and fear, success and failure. These seemingly contradictory states are actually two extremes of the same phenomenon, separated only by varying degrees. When properly understood and applied, the Law of Polarity becomes a powerful tool for personal transformation, helping you navigate life's challenges with greater wisdom and deliberately attract your desires with heightened awareness. This principle doesn't just explain the nature of reality, it offers a pathway to mastering it. Understanding the Law of Polarity. At its essence, the Law of Polarity states that everything has its pair of opposites, and these opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. What we perceive as separate, conflicting forces are actually two expressions of the same thing. Light and darkness exist on a spectrum of illumination. Heat and cold represent different degrees of temperature. A success and failure are measurements on the scale of achievement. Love and hate occupy different positions on the emotional continuum. Positive and negative are simply opposite charges of the same energy. As the ancient Hermetic text, the Kybalion, expresses it, everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. This principle reveals that opposites are not truly in conflict. They are complementary aspects of a unified whole. Without darkness, we couldn't perceive light. Without challenges, we couldn't experience triumph. Without knowing what we don't want, we couldn't clarify what we do want. The transformative power of understanding polarity. When we recognize the Law of Polarity at work in our lives, we gain access to several transformative insights. 1. The power of contrast. Contrast serves as one of our most powerful tools for clarification. When we experience what we don't want, we gain clarity about what we do want. This is why challenging experiences often precede our greatest periods of growth and manifestation. They provide the contrast necessary to refine our desires. The Law of Polarity ensures that every negative experience contains within it the seed of an equally powerful positive experience. By understanding this principle, we can use contrast not as a source of discouragement but as a clarifying force that sharpens our focus and intention. 2. The transmutation of energy. Since opposites exist on the same spectrum, we have the power to transmute energy from one pole to another. Just as we can transform water from solid to liquid to gas by changing its temperature, we can shift our experiences from negative to positive by adjusting our perception and vibration. This understanding gives us tremendous power over our circumstances. What appears as a problem contains within it the elements of its solution. What manifests as lack holds the potential for abundance. The key lies in our ability to consciously move along the spectrum toward what we desire. 3. The paradox of wholeness. The Law of Polarity reveals that wholeness doesn't come from eliminating one pole in favor of another, but from embracing and integrating both. We become most powerful not when we reject our shadows, but when we acknowledge them as part of our complete selves. This principle teaches us that spiritual growth isn't about becoming only positive or eliminating all negative. It's about transcending the limited perspective that sees these as separate and recognizing the wholeness that encompasses both. How understanding contrast helps attract what you desire. The Law of Polarity reveals that contrast plays an essential role in the manifestation process. Here's how understanding contrast enhances your power to attract what you desire. Clarification through contrast. When you experience what you don't want, you gain clarity about what you do want. This clarity is essential for focused manifestation. Without knowing the opposite of your desire, your intention would lack definition and power. For example, experiencing a toxic relationship helps you clarify the qualities you want in a healthy partnership. Facing financial struggle sharpens your vision of abundance. Working in an unfulfilling job crystallizes your understanding of meaningful work. Appreciation through contrast. When you understand the law of polarity, you recognize that experiencing one extreme enhances your ability to appreciate its opposite. After illness, health feels more precious. After loneliness, connection feels more meaningful. After struggle, ease feels more delicious. This appreciation isn't just a pleasant byproduct, it's a powerful attractor. When you deeply appreciate something, you align with its vibration and draw more of it into your experience. Transcending the illusion of separation. The law of polarity teaches us that opposites are not truly separate. They are different expressions of the same energy. When you transcend the illusion of separation, you gain access to a higher perspective that allows you to find the gift in every challenge, see the opportunity in every problem, recognize the abundance within apparent lack, discover the healing potential within pain. From this elevated awareness, you attract experiences that reflect your expanded consciousness rather than your limited perceptions. Practical benefits of working with the law of polarity. When you consciously apply the law of polarity in your life, you gain access to several powerful benefits. 1. Enhanced emotional resilience. Understanding polarity helps you maintain emotional balance during challenging times. When you recognize that every negative experience contains the seed of an equal or greater positive, you can face difficulties with greater equanimity and hope. Instead of being overwhelmed by challenges, you develop the capacity to ask, what is the opposite of this experience, and how is it helping me clarify what I truly want? This question transforms your relationship with adversity. 2. Greater manifestation power. The law of polarity enhances your manifestation abilities by teaching you to use contrast to sharpen your intentions. Recognize when you're focusing on what you don't want, consciously shift your attention to what you do want. Appreciate the role of opposition in clarifying your desires. This awareness prevents the common manifestation mistake of intently attracting what you don't want by focusing on it too intensely. 3. Improved problem-solving abilities. When you understand that every problem contains its solution, you approach challenges with greater creativity and confidence. Rather than seeing obstacles as blockages, you recognize them as invitations to discover new possibilities. This perspective activates your innate problem-solving capacities and opens you to innovative solutions that might otherwise remain hidden. 4. Deeper compassion and understanding. The law of polarity fosters compassion by revealing that qualities you judge in others are polarized expressions of qualities within yourself. This recognition dissolves the illusion of separation and nurtures a more empathetic approach to relationships. When you judge someone as too aggressive, you can reflect on where you might be too passive. When you criticize someone for being irresponsible, you can explore where you might be overly rigid. This practice transforms judgment into understanding. 5. Accelerated spiritual growth. By embracing the integration of opposites rather than seeking to eliminate one pole in favor of another, you align with a more mature spiritual perspective. This integration leads to greater wholeness and authenticity, reduced internal conflict, more harmonious relationships, a deeper sense of peace and acceptance. This perspective represents a significant evolution beyond the dualistic thinking that characterizes much of conventional spirituality. Implementing the law of polarity in daily life. To harness the power of the law of polarity, consider these practical strategies. 1. Practice conscious contrast appreciation. When you experience something unwanted, consciously use it to clarify what you do want. Write down what you don't like about the situation. For each point, articulate its opposite. What you would prefer instead. Focus your attention energy on these preferred states. 8. Express gratitude for the clarity the contrast has provided. This practice transforms negative experiences from sources of frustration into catalysts for greater clarity and manifestation. 2. Transmute energy through mental alchemy. When facing challenges, practice mental alchemy, the art of transmuting negative energy into positive. Identify the negative pole you're experiencing: fear, lack, conflict. Recognize its opposite pole: love, abundance, harmony, etc. Ask, how can I move along this spectrum toward what I prefer? Take one concrete action that shifts you in that direction. This practice reminds you of your power to transform energy rather than being victimized by it. 3. Integrate shadow aspects. Work with the shadow aspects of yourself, the qualities you've rejected or denied. Identify traits you judge harshly in others, or explore how these traits might exist within you in polarized form. Find the positive intention or gift within these shadow aspects. Work toward conscious integration rather than rejection. This practice leads to greater wholeness and projection while reducing in conflict in relationships. 4. Use polarity questioning. When stuck in limited thinking, use polarity questions to expand your perspective. What's the opposite of how I'm seeing this situation? If the opposite of my current belief were true, what would be possible? What wisdom might exist at the opposite pole of my current understanding? How might this challenge be serving me in ways I haven't recognized? These questions activate your capacity to transcend limited viewpoints and access more empowering perspectives. 5. Practice paradoxical intention. Sometimes the most direct path to something is through its opposite. If you're anxiously trying to fall asleep, try staying awake instead. If you're desperately seeking a relationship, focus on loving your solitude. If you're straining to remember something, intentionally forget it. If you're struggling to succeed, redefine what success means to you. This practice leverages the law of polarity by recognizing that forcing one pole often strengthens its opposite, while embracing an opposite can sometimes bring what you truly seek. 6. Create polarity maps for key life areas. For important areas of your life, create polarity maps that help you navigate between extremes. Identify the poles: work, rest, structure, spontaneity, connection, solitude. Recognize the downsides of each pole when taken to an extreme. Identify the upsides of each pole when expressed in healthy measure. Create strategies for maintaining dynamic balance rather than rigid positioning. This practice helps you move the more empowering both and awareness that polarity consciousness offers. Avoiding common misunderstandings. While working with the law of polarity, be mindful of these potential pills. 1. Toxic positivity. The law of polarity doesn't mean ignoring or suppressing negative experiences in favor of positive ones. This approach creates internal division rather than integration. Instead, acknowledge the full spectrum of your experience while consciously choosing where to place your focus. 2. Passive acceptance. Understanding that challenges contain opportunities doesn't mean passively accepting harmful situations. The law of polarity empowers you to transform what isn't working rather than resigning yourself to it. 3. False equivalence. While opposites exist on the same spectrum, this doesn't mean they are morally equivalent. Recognizing the polarity between kindness and cruelty doesn't mean these qualities are equally valid choices. The law of polarity informs our understanding without negating our responsibility to make conscious ethical choices. 4. Simplistic dualism. The law of polarity reveals that apparent opposites are connected, but this doesn't mean reality is limited to simplistic either or categories. Most aspects of life exist on complex, multidimensional spectrums rather than binary oppositions. The spiritual dimension of polarity. Beyond its practical applications, the law of polarity contains profound spiritual wisdom. It reveals the fundamental unity underlying apparent diversity. It teaches us to transcend dualistic perception and embrace wholeness. It invites us to find the hidden harmony within seeming contradictions. It shows us that spiritual maturity comes through integration rather than rejection. At its deepest level, the law of polarity points toward non-dual awareness, the recognition that the divided perception of reality is ultimately an illusion, and that a more fundamental unity underlies all apparent opposites. Integrating the law of polarity with other universal laws. The law of polarity works in harmony with other universal principles. With the law of attraction, polarity helps us use contrast to clarify and intensify our manifesting power. With the law of vibration, polarity shows us how to transmute energy from one frequency to another. With the law of correspondence, polarity reveals how inner integration creates outer harmony. With the law of relativity, polarity provides the contrast necessary for meaningful evaluation. When integrated with these principles, the law of polarity becomes part of a coherent understanding of how reality operates on all levels. Practical examples: the law of polarity in action. In relationships, when you experience conflict in a relationship, the law of polarity invites you to 1. Identify what aspect of the relationship isn't working. 2. Clarify its opposite, what you would prefer instead. 3. Look for how you might be contributing to the unwanted pole. 4. Recognize how the challenge is helping you grow and learn. 5. Take action that shifts the relationship toward the preferred pole. This approach transforms relationship difficulties from sources of resentment into opportunities for deeper connection and personal growth. In career and finances, when facing career challenges or financial struggles, the law of polarity suggests 1. Using dissatisfaction to clarify what would truly fulfill you. 2. Recognizing how financial limitation is teaching you about value and priorities. 3. Finding the gift or opportunity within professional setbacks. 4. Using contrast to refine your vision of success. 5. Taking actions that align with your clarified understanding. This perspective transforms career and financial challenges from obstacles into stepping stones toward greater fulfillment and abundance. In personal growth, when confronting personal limitations or emotional difficulties, the law of polarity encourages you to 1. See how each challenging trait has a polarized strength. 2. Recognize how emotional pain clarifies what brings you joy. 3. Understand how your struggles are developing your resilience and wisdom. 4. Integrate rejected aspects of yourself rather than fighting against them. 5. Use contrast as a tool for greater self-awareness and authenticity. This approach transforms self-improvement from a war against yourself into a journey of integration and wholeness. Conclusion: embracing the wisdom of polarity. The law of polarity offers us one of the most liberating truths about reality, that nothing exists in isolation, and everything is connected to its opposite. What we perceive as separate, conflicting forces are actually interdependent aspects of a unified whole. By consciously working with this principle, we gain the ability to transform challenges into opportunities, use contrast to clarify our desires, transmute negative energy into positive, move beyond dualistic thinking into integrative awareness, find harmony within apparent contradiction. As you apply the law of polarity in your life, remember that every experience contains within it the seed of its opposite. This understanding doesn't just explain the nature of reality, it gives you the power to consciously participate in its creation. In embracing this law, you align yourself with one of the fundamental patterns of the universe, recognizing that the interplay of opposites isn't a cosmic conflict to be resolved but a divine dance to be appreciated. Through this awareness, you become not just an observer of polarity, but a conscious creator who understands how to work with this principle to manifest your highest vision and live with greater wisdom. The law of polarity reminds us that life isn't about eliminating one pole in favor of another. It's about discovering the underlying unity that encompasses both. In this recognition lies true power, lasting peace, and the ability to consciously attract what you truly desire. The law of rhythm flowing with life's natural cycles. Life moves in patterns, rising and falling, expanding and contracting, advancing and retreating. These natural oscillations govern everything from the cosmic dance of galaxies to the beating of your heart, from economic booms and busts to the ebb and flow of your emotional states. This fundamental pattern of movement is what we call the law of rhythm. The law of rhythm states that everything in the universe flows according to cyclical patterns. Predictable, natural cadences that create a cosmic dance of perpetual motion and change. When properly understood and applied, this universal principle becomes a powerful tool for navigating life with greater ease, wisdom, and deliberate intention. Understanding the law of rhythm. At its essence, the law of rhythm reveals that nothing in the universe remains static. All things move through cycles of activity and rest, growth and consolidation, expansion and contraction. These rhythms manifest across all scales and dimensions of existence, the celestial cycles of planets, stars and galaxies, at the seasonal cycles of nature, spring, summer, autumn, winter, the biological cycles within our bodies, heartbeat, breath, hormonal fluctuations, the social and economic cycles of civilizations, growth, peak, decline, renewal, the emotional and psychological cycles of human experience, joy and sorrow, motivation and fatigue, the spiritual cycles of awakening, seeking, finding, integrating, transcending. As the ancient Hermetic text, the Kybalion, expresses it, everything flows out and in, everything has its tides, all things rise and fall, the pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left, rhythm compensates. But this principle reveals a profound truth: what appears as chaos often contains hidden order. The fluctuations we experience aren't random disruptions but predictable patterns that, when recognized, can be navigated with greater skill and foresight. The transformative power of understanding rhythm. When we recognize the law of rhythm at work in our lives, we gain access to several transformative insights. 1. The impermanence of all states. The law of rhythm teaches us that no condition, whether positive or negative, lasts indefinitely. Difficult periods naturally give way to easier ones. Periods of abundance eventually yield to periods of conservation. This understanding brings comfort during challenging times and wisdom during prosperous ones. By recognizing the impermanence of all states, we develop greater emotional resilience. We learn not to identify too strongly with any temporary condition, knowing that this too shall pass, whether it's a painful struggle or a joyful triumph. 2. The predictable nature of cycles. While we cannot always control the cycles that affect our lives, we can learn to anticipate and prepare for them. By studying the rhythms that govern different areas of our experience, physical energy, emotional states, creative output, financial patterns, we can make wiser decisions about when to act and when to wait. This foresight allows us to align our efforts with natural momentum rather than struggling against it. We learn when to push forward and when to conserve energy, when to expand and when to consolidate. 3. The power of conscious participation. The law of rhythm doesn't just describe passive forces that happen to us, it reveals patterns we can consciously work with. By understanding the rhythmic nature of reality, we gain the ability to influence the amplitude of our cycles, so the intensity of the highs and lows, adjust the frequency of oscillations, how quickly we move through cycles, harmonize conflicting rhythms to create greater coherence in our lives, transcend certain limiting patterns of awareness, through conscious accompaniments into das treaters of car creators of us from victims us of our experience. How recognizing natural flows helps navigate change. The law of rhythm reveals that change isn't something to be feared or resisted but a natural expression of universal patterns. Here's how understanding these natural flows enhances your ability to navigate change with ease at anticipating transitions. When you understand the cyclical nature of life, you can recognize the signs of approaching transitions. You notice when a cycle is nearing completion and prepare for the shift rather than being surprised by it. For example, you might recognize when a relationship is moving from the initial passion phase into a deeper commitment phase, or when a career path is reaching its natural conclusion and preparing you for a new direction. This awareness allows you to navigate transitions proactively rather than reactively. Aligning with momentum. The law of rhythm teaches us to recognize when we're moving with or against natural momentum. This awareness helps us capitalize on periods of forward motion by investing extra energy, conserve resources during natural downtimes, avoid forcing progress when consolidation is needed, prepare for upcoming phases rather than clinging to current ones. By aligning with momentum rather than fighting against it, we accomplish more with less effort and experience greater flow in our activities. Finding peace amid change. Perhaps most importantly, understanding the law of rhythm brings peace amid life's constant fluctuations. When we recognize change as a natural, necessary aspect of existence rather than a disruption to be feared, we develop a more trusting relationship with life itself. This trust doesn't mean passive acceptance of whatever happens. Rather, it means engaging with change from a centered, grounded place, navigating the rhythms of life with wisdom rather than resistance. Practical benefits of working with the law of rhythm. When you consciously apply the law of rhythm in your life, you gain access to several powerful benefits. 1. Enhanced emotional stability. Understanding rhythm helps you maintain emotional balance during life's inevitable ups and downs. When you recognize that difficult emotional states are temporary phases rather than permanent conditions, you may experience negative emotions without being overwhelmed by them. Avoid the false belief that something is wrong. When you're in a low phase, trust in your resilience and ability to move through challenging periods. Appreciate high points without becoming attached to them, and this awareness creates an balanced emotional life and reduces unnecessary suffering. 2. Improved strategic timing. The law of rhythm enhances your ability to time your actions for maximum effectiveness. By recognizing the cycles operating in different areas of your life, you can launch new initiatives during naturally expansive phases, focus on consolidation and integration during naturally reflective phases, prepare for upcoming opportunities before they arrive, conserve energy during natural downtimes rather than forcing action. This strategic timing allows with less experience in your place greater success in your endeavors. 3. Greater creative flow. Creativity naturally flows in rhythmic patterns. By understanding these patterns, you can honor periods of inspiration without demanding constant productivity. Use follow periods for gathering new inputs and experiences. Trust the natural incubation process when ideas are developing beneath the surface. Suspect your native practices. That approach leads to more authentic creative expression and prevents burnout. 4. Deeper connection with natural cycles. The law of rhythm reconnects us with the natural world and its wisdom. As we attune to the cycles of day and night, the seasons, the lunar phases, and other natural rhythms, we develop greater harmony with our environment, access ancient wisdom about timing and cycles, find our place within larger patterns of existence, reclaim our connection to natural ways of being. This reconnection brings a sense of belonging and alignment with forces larger than ourselves. 5. Increased manifestation power. By understanding rhythm, you enhance your manifestation abilities. You learn to set intentions in harmony with natural cycles, recognize when to take action and when to allow work with rather than against universal momentum. Trust the natural unfolding of manifestation processes. This awareness prevents the common manifestation mistakes of forcing, controlling, and mistiming your creative efforts. Implementing the law of rhythm in daily life. To harness the power of the law of rhythm, consider these practical strategies. 1. Track your personal rhythms. Begin documenting the cycles that affect your life. Monitor your physical energy throughout the day, week, and month. Track your emotional states to identify recurring patterns. Note fluctuations in your creativity, productivity, and focus. Observe cycles in your relationships, finances, and other key areas. Use journals, apps, or simple calendars to identify patterns over time. This awareness is the foundation for working consciously with your natural rhythms. 2. Honor your body's wisdom. Your body contains innate wisdom about natural rhythms. Respect your circadian rhythms by maintaining consistent sleep patterns. Honor hunger and fullness cues rather than rigid eating schedules. Recognize hormonal cycles and adjust activities accordingly. Allow for periods of higher and lower and then demanding consistency. This practice nurtures your physical well-being and aligns your natural binds your body's activities with your body's your actitural flows. Create rhythmic structures. Design your life to honor rather than fight against natural rhythms. And establish daily routines that alternate between activity and rest. Create weekly schedules that balance work with renewal. Plan yearly cycles that include periods of intensity and retreat. Design projects with phases of expansion and consolidation. These rhythmics provide the flexibility needed for sustainable growth and achievement. 4. Practice rhythmic breathing. Use breath as a tool for experiencing and influencing rhythm. Develop awareness of your natural breathing pattern. Practice coherent breathing. Equal inhale and exhale to balance your nervous system. Use rhythmic breathing to shift between states of activation and relaxation. Explore how breath can regulate your emotional and mental states. This practice fundamental rhythm of life and most fundamental life and verse a powerful tools connects you with the mother for self-regulation. 5. Align with cosmic rhythms. Attune yourself to larger natural cycles. Live in harmony with seasonal energies. Planting in spring, harvesting in fall. Honor lunar cycles for setting intentions and releasing what no longer serves. Recognize how annual solar cycles affect your energy and focus. Connect with ancient wisdom traditions about cosmic timing. This alignment connects your purse with universal patterns and guidance providence for timing important activities. 6. Develop rhythm awareness in relationships. Recognize and respect the natural cycles in relationships to honor the natural ebbs and flows of connection and independence. Understand that interest, passion, and focus naturally fluctuate. Create space for both togetherness and separateness. Recognize when relationships are entering new phases and adapt accordingly. This awareness prevents unnecessary conflict and nurtures sustainable connections. 7. Practice financial rhythm. Apply rhythmic understanding to your financial life. Save during abundant periods to prepare for leaner times. Recognize larger economic cycles that might affect your security. Alternate between periods of expansion, investment, and conservation. Create sustainable financial patterns rather than boom and bust cycles. Builds financial resilience and prevents the stress of erratic financial patterns. Avoiding common misunderstandings. While working with the law of rhythm, be mindful of these potential pills. 1. Fatalistic acceptance. Understanding rhythm doesn't mean passively accepting whatever comes. While certain cycles are inevitable, you retain the power to influence the amplitude of the cycles you experience. Prepare for and mitigate the effects of downward phases. Consciously choose your response to whatever phase you're in. Create stability amid fluctuation through wise preparation. The law of rhythm empowers conscious navigation rather than passive resignation. 2. Ignoring personal agency. While universal rhythms affect us all, we each have unique patterns and the ability to influence them. Avoid assuming that but everyone experiences the same rhythms in the same way. You have no control over the cycles affecting your life. Your patterns can't be changed or moderated. External cycles determine your experience more than your choices. Remember that conscious awareness itself can transform how you experience rhythm. 3. Expecting perfect consistency. Some seekers misinterpret the law of rhythm as promising perfect, predictable patterns. In reality, multiple rhythms often overlap, creating complex patterns. Some cycles are harder to predict than others. Conscious intervention can alter expected patterns. New influences can introduce unexpected variations. Embrace rhythm as a dynamic, living principle rather than a rigid, mechanical formula. 4. Resisting natural phases. Every phase of a cycle serves a purpose, yet we often resist certain phases. We try to maintain constant high energy rather than honoring rest. We push for continuous growth rather than allowing consolidation. We chase perpetual happiness rather than accepting the full emotional spectrum. We demand constant clarity rather than respecting periods of uncertainty, and learning to value and work with each phase is essential to mastering the law of running phase, including those we find challenging. The spiritual dimension of rhythm. Beyond its practical applications, the law of rhythm contains profound spiritual wisdom. It reveals the dynamic balance between being and becoming. It teaches us about the natural alternation between effort and surrender. It shows us how apparent opposites like change and continuity are reconciled. It demonstrates how stability exists within movement rather than in opposition to it at its deepest level. The law of rhythm points toward a dynamic understanding of reality, one in which stillness and movement, permanence and change, are not contradictory but complementary aspects of a living, breathing cosmos. Integrating the law of rhythm with other universal laws. The law of rhythm works in harmony with other universal principles. With the law of vibration, rhythm reveals the patterned nature of energy fluctuations. With the law of polarity, rhythm shows how opposites naturally alternate and complement each other. With the law of cause and effect, rhythm helps us understand the timing between actions and results. With the law of attraction, rhythm explains why manifestation occurs in cycles rather than linear progression. When integrated with these principles, the law of rhythm becomes part of a coherent understanding of how reality operates on all levels. Practical examples. The law of rhythm in action. In health and wellness, when applying the law of rhythm to physical well-being, you might 1. Honor your body's natural need for alternating activity and recovery. 2. Align eating patterns with circadian rhythms for optimal digestion. 3. Schedule high-intensity workouts during your natural energy peaks. 4. Create sustainable health practices that respect your unique rhythms. 5. Work with rather than against seasonal influences on your vitality. This approach creates sustainable wellness rather than the boom and bust cycle of extreme ends followed by complete abandonment. In career and creativity, when applying the law of rhythm to your work life, you might 1. Structure projects to include both intensive production and reflective evaluation. 2. Schedule creative work during your peak creative hours. 3. Build in recovery periods after major accomplishments. 4. Recognize when you're entering a new career cycle and prepare accordingly. 5. Create sustainable work patterns rather than alternating between overwork and burnout. This rhythm conscious approach leads to greater productivity, innovation, and career longevity. In spiritual growth, when applying the law of rhythm to your spiritual journey, you might 1. Honor periods of intense seeking and quiet integration. 2. Recognize that motivation and discipline naturally fluctuate. 3. Allow for cycles of expansion and consolidation in your practice. 4. Trust the process during apparent plateaus or setbacks. 5. Create sustainable spiritual habits that respect natural rhythms. This approach fosters authentic spiritual development rather than forced progress or inconsistent practice. Conclusion. Dancing with the rhythm of life. The law of rhythm offers us one of the most liberating truths about existence. That life moves in natural, predictable patterns that we can learn to navigate with wisdom and grace. When we understand these patterns, we transform our relationship with change, moving from resistance to partnership, from struggle to flow. By consciously working with this principle, we gain the ability to navigate transitions with greater ease and foresight, align our efforts with natural momentum rather than fighting against it, find stability amid change through rhythmic awareness, create sustainable patterns in all areas of our lives, experience greater harmony with the natural world and its wisdom. As you apply the law of rhythm in your life, remember that mastery doesn't come from controlling the tides but from learning to surf them skillfully. The goal isn't to eliminate fluctuation, but to dance with it consciously, to find your unique rhythm within the greater symphony of existence. In embracing this law, you align yourself with one of the fundamental patterns of the universe, recognizing that the ebbs and flows of life aren't obstacles to overcome but the very means through which you grow, create, and evolve. Through this awareness, you become not just a passive experiencer of life's rhythms but an active participant in its magnificent, ever-unfolding dance. The law of rhythm reminds us that life isn't about reaching some static state of perfection. It's about finding grace, balance, and wisdom amid constant movement and change. In this recognition lies true mastery, lasting fulfillment, and the ability to navigate life's ever-changing tides with confidence and ease. The law of inspired action, turning desires into reality. Introduction. In the constellation of universal principles that govern manifestation, the law of inspired action stands as a critical bridge between intention and outcome. While many people are familiar with the law of attraction, the principle that like attracts like and that our thoughts shape our reality, fewer understand that attraction alone is insufficient. The law of inspired action teaches us that taking aligned, purposeful action is necessary to turn our desires into tangible reality. This law represents the dynamic counterpart to the more passive aspects of manifestation. It acknowledges that while visualization, affirmation, and emotional alignment are essential foundation stones, they must be complemented by deliberate action taken from a place of inspiration and alignment. In essence, It's the difference between dreaming about your goals and actively moving toward them with purpose and enthusiasm. In this comprehensive exploration, we'll examine the law of inspired action in detail, understanding its mechanisms, benefits, and most importantly, how to implement it effectively in your daily life to create powerful, positive change. Understanding the law of inspired action. The mechanics behind the law. The law of inspired action operates on the principle that thoughts and feelings generate an energetic momentum that must be channeled through physical action to manifest in the material world. When we take action that's aligned with our desires and highest intentions, we create a powerful conduit for manifestation. Unlike ordinary action, which might be driven by obligation, fear, or social conditioning, inspired action comes from a different source. It emerges from our inner guidance, that intuitive nudge or flash of insight, alignment with values, actions that resonate with your core beliefs, enthusiasm and energy, a sense of being energized rather than depleted, a flow state. Actions that feel natural and effortless, purpose at a clear connection to your larger vision. The key distinction is the quality of energy behind the action. When you're taking inspired action, you're not forcing yourself against internal resistance. Instead, you're following an energetic current that already exists within you, propelled by genuine inspiration. The difference between inspired action and hustle culture. It's important to differentiate inspired action from the hustle harder mentality prevalent in much of today's achievement-oriented culture. Inspired action is not about pushing yourself to exhaustion, taking action from a place of scarcity or fear, following a prescribed path that doesn't resonate with you. No pain, no gain mentality, constant striving without rest or receptivity. Instead, inspired action maintains a balanced relationship between doing and being, between effort and allowance. It recognizes that true productivity flows from alignment rather than force. The relationship with other universal laws. The law of inspired action works in concert with several other universal principles. The law of attraction. While attraction brings opportunities into your energetic field, inspired action helps you intercept and capitalize on them. Law of vibration. Your vibrational state determines the quality of actions you'll be inspired to take. A law of correspondence. Your outer actions will ultimately mirror your inner state. Law of rhythm. Inspired action respects the natural cycles of energy and rest. Law of cause and effect. Every inspired action sets in motion a series of effects that create your reality. Understanding these relationships helps us see that inspired action is not an isolated principle, but part of an integrated system of universal laws working together. Benefits of implementing the law of inspired action. Embracing and living by the law of inspired action offers numerous profound benefits that extend far beyond simple goal achievement. Accelerated manifestation. Perhaps the most obvious benefit is the rapid acceleration of your manifestation process. When you complement your vibrational work of visualization, affirmation, emotional alignment with inspired action, you create a complete circuit that allows energy to flow unimpeded from thought to physical reality. Many people experience what seems like coincidences or lucky breaks, or once they begin taking inspired action, but these are actually the natural result of aligning your actions with your energetic intentions, heightened intuition and guidance. Regularly acting on inspiration strengthens your connection to your intuitive guidance system. As you learn to recognize and respond to inspired impulses, your intuition becomes more refined and trustworthy. Many people report receiving increasingly clear guidance the more they act on the subtler nudges they receive. This creates a positive feedback loop. The more you act on inspiration, the more inspiration you receive. Increased energy and vitality. Unlike forced action, which often depletes energy, inspired action actually generates vitality. When you're taking actions aligned with your authentic self and highest desires, you tap into a wellspring of energy that wasn't previously available. Many people report feeling in the zone or experiencing a sense of timelessness when engaged in inspired action. Classic indicators of the flow state that psychologists have identified as optimal human experience. Greater confidence and self-trust. Each time you act on inspiration and experience positive results, your confidence in yourself and in the universal principle strengthens. Over time builds tremendous self-trust and personal power. You begin to recognize yourself as someone who not only dreams but also takes effective action to create desired outcomes. This self-image becomes self-reinforcing and leads to increasingly bold inspired actions. Enhanced creative problem solving. Inspired action often leads you toward innovative solutions that your logical mind alone might not have devised. Because you're tapping into a broader intelligence beyond your conscious reasoning, you may find yourself solving problems in unexpected and elegant ways. Many breakthrough innovations and creative works throughout history have emerged from this space of inspired action rather than solely logical planning. Deeper life satisfaction. Perhaps most significantly, living by the law of inspired action leads to a profound sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. There's an unmistakable joy in knowing you're actively creating your life experience rather than passively waiting for circumstances to change. The alignment between your inner desires and outer actions creates a harmony that resonates through every aspect of your life. How to implement the law of inspired action. Implementing the law of inspired action requires both receptivity and proactivity. Here's a comprehensive guide to putting this powerful principle into practice. 1. Create receptivity for inspiration. Before inspired action can occur, you must create the conditions for inspiration to arise. A clear mental and emotional space. Inspiration thrives in mental clarity. Regular meditation, mindfulness practices, or simply periods of quiet reflection can clear the mental clutter that often obscures inspired thoughts. Even 10-15 minutes daily of mental quieting can dramatically increase your receptivity to inspiration. Cultivate present moment awareness. Inspiration exists in the now, not in ruminations about the past or anxieties about the future. Practicing present moment awareness through mindful activities, walking in nature, conscious breathing, fully engaging your senses opens you the inspiration available in each moment. Maintain elevated emotions. Your emotional state acts as either a conductor or resistor to inspiration. Regular practices that elevate your emotional state. Gratitude journaling, appreciation exercises, joy-inducing activities. Create an inviting environment for inspiration to flourish. Create input-output balance. Inspiration requires both input learning, experiencing, absorbing, and output creating, expressing, acting. If you're constantly consuming information without application, or constantly producing without renewal, inspiration will be limited. Create a healthy rhythm between these modes. 2. Recognize inspired guidance. Learning to distinguish between genuine inspiration and other mental phenomena is crucial. Physical signals. Authentic inspiration often creates physical sensations, energy rushes, tingles, warmth in the chest, or a sense of expansion. Pay attention to how your body responds to different thoughts and ideas. Emotional quality. Inspired thoughts typically generate positive emotions like excitement, joy, curiosity, or peaceful knowing. They rarely produce anxiety, fear, or a sense of contraction, though they may stretch you beyond your comfort zone. Persistence vs. forcing. True inspiration tends to persist gently, returning to your awareness even when not deliberately focused upon. This differs from obsessive thoughts or those you're trying to force. Inspiration has a lighter quality than mental forcing. Alignment check. Ask yourself, does this potential action align with my core values and highest vision? Genuine inspiration, even when challenging, will align with your authentic self rather than conflicting with. 3. Take prompt action on inspiration. Once you recognize inspired guidance, the key is to act on it promptly. Start with small steps. You don't need to see the entire path to begin. Taking even small actions on inspiration creates momentum and often reveals the next steps. These initial actions might be as simple as making a phone call, researching a topic, or having a conversation related to your inspiration. Overcome action resistance. When hesitation arises, as it often will, acknowledge it without judgment and gently move past it. Setting a personal rule like, I will take at least one action on inspiration within 24 hours, can help overcome inertia. Create accountability structures. Share your inspired ideas and intended actions with supportive others who can encourage follow through. Whether through a formal accountability partner, a mastermind group, or simply telling a friend, external accountability amplifies your commitment. Document inspirations and actions. Keep an inspiration journal where you record both the inspirations you receive and the actions you take in response. This creates a valuable record of your inspired action practice and helps you identify patterns in how inspiration works for you. 4. Maintain momentum while remaining flexible. Sustained implementation of this law requires both persistence and adaptability. Create daily inspired action habits. Build the practice of taking at least one inspired action daily, no matter how small. This consistent practice strengthens your inspiration muscles and creates powerful momentum over time. Release attachment to specific outcomes. While remaining committed to your vision, stay flexible about exactly how it manifests. Often, inspired action leads to outcomes even better than originally envisioned, but following the path may require letting go of preconceptions about how things should unfold. Distinguish between resistance and redirection. When obstacles arise, discern whether they represent resistance to be worked through, an opportunity for growth, a redirection toward a better path, a divine course correction. This discernment develops with practice and attunement to your inner guidance. Balance planning and spontaneity. While inspired action often has a spontaneous quality, it can also benefit from thoughtful planning. Create flexible frameworks that support your inspired actions while remaining open to unexpected opportunities and detours. 5. Integrate reflection and refinement. To master the law of inspired action over time, incorporate regular reflection, review results and patterns. Periodically review the outcomes of your inspired actions. What patterns do you notice? Which types of inspiration tend to be most fruitful? Where might you be mistaking other impulses for genuine inspiration? Celebrate progress and wins. Acknowledge and celebrate the manifestations that result from your inspired actions. This appreciation creates an energetic environment conducive to further inspiration and manifestation. Refine your discernment. As you gain experience with inspired action, consciously refine your ability to distinguish between various internal promptings. Your discernment will naturally sharpen through this reflective practice. Deepen trust in the process. Each successful manifestation through inspired action builds greater trust in both yourself and universal principles. Lean into this growing trust, allowing it to carry you through periods when inspiration seems less accessible. Common obstacles and how to overcome them. Even with the best intentions, several challenges commonly arise when implementing the law of inspired action. The overthinking trap. Many people analyze inspired impulses until the energy dissipates. To overcome this, set a personal rule that once you've confirmed basic alignment with your values, you'll act first and analyze later. Waiting for perfect conditions. Perfectionism often disguises itself as prudence. Remember that inspired action thrives in good enough conditions. Waiting for perfect circumstances usually leads to inaction. Start where you are with what you have, comparing your path to others. Your inspired action journey will be uniquely yours. Comparing it to others' paths can derail authentic inspiration. Maintain awareness of when you're acting from genuine inspiration versus imitation or social pressure. Mistaking impulsivity for inspiration. Not every spontaneous urge is inspired action. Develop discernment by checking potential actions against your values' long-term vision and the emotional, physical signals mentioned earlier. Burnout from overaction. Even inspired action requires balance with periods of rest and receptivity. Honor your natural rhythms and integrate regular renewal practices to sustain your inspired action capacity. Conclusion: integrating the law of inspired action as a way of life. The law of inspired action is not merely a manifestation technique, but a way of living in greater harmony with universal energy. As you consistently implement this principle, you'll likely find that the distinction between your ordinary life and your manifestation practice begins to dissolve. Living becomes a fluid dance of receiving inspiration and expressing it through aligned action. The ultimate mastery of this law comes when inspired action becomes your default mode, not something you do occasionally but how you naturally operate. In this state, manifestation accelerates, synchronicities abound, and you experience the profound satisfaction of knowing you're actively creating your reality rather than merely wishing for change. Remember that inspired action combines the magnetic power of your thoughts and emotions with the creative power of your physical engagement with the world. This powerful combination, being and doing in alignment, creates the optimal conditions for bringing your deepest desires into tangible reality. Begin today by creating space for inspiration, recognizing its unique signature in your experience, and taking at least one small action from that inspired place. As you build this practice consistently, you'll witness the extraordinary generative power of the law of inspired action transforming your life from the inside out.